Rex Grossman has Florida's high-powered offense flying high. Just like his mentor, Grossman has been groomed since childhood to lead his team to become the next of the Sunshine State's quarterbacking royalty.
King of the street or something. Ain't nobody king of the street. It's all about survival. It's all about getting yours. Only thing a man's got is his family and his pride. That's all he's got.
At Ole Miss, the Manning bloodline runs true blue. Now Eli is the ruling Prince of Oxford, just as his dad was 30 years ago. Manning and Ole Miss. Grossman and Florida next. One of college football's great traditions in the South is Ole Miss's game day walk through the Grove, the Walk of Champions. Thousands of Ole Miss fans line the walk to wish the Rebels well. And the one player they all come to see, quarterback Eli Manning, is the Home Depot SEC on CBS. And today, from Oxford, Mississippi, it's the Ole Miss Rebels against the Florida Gators. Ole Miss trying to go 2-0 in the SEC for the first time since 1970. The quarterback, Archie Manning. In the stadium, the 6th-ranked Gators. Weather in Oxford, what was left of Hurricane Lily, rolled through Friday morning. Game time temperature perfect, 69 degrees. And we've got clear skies in Oxford. And hi, everyone. I'm Craig Gorjack along with Craig James. If you like the passing game, this is the place to be. Craig, Ole Miss likes to throw the football. Florida, exactly the same. We've got a Heisman hopeful in Rex Grossman.
And they're hoping it's not Hurricane Grossman today. They've dealt with one hurricane this week very well down here. Hey, Grossman in this particular game really doesn't need to make any adjustments at all. He just needs to throw the football, execute what the defense gives him. Taylor Jacobs is outstanding. Carlos Perez can catch the ball. And they've got Ernest Graham to run the football. So in this game here, Grossman, just be Grossman. Don't do anything spectacular. Just execute the playbook.
Well, there's another Manning that has found his way here to Ole Miss. Archie, of course, daddy played here. Peyton went on to Tennessee. This man is Eli Manning.
Mr. Manning. Now, Mr. Manning needs to make some adjustments today because I think that Florida defense is going to get after his penny. But this is one of those games, 3-step drops, get rid of the football, move the pocket, bootlegs, get outside, because
they have to keep the Florida defense off balance. There's no way he can sit in that pocket all day long.
No, Eli could, of course, have some Heisman Trophy votes by the end of the season. And speaking of Heisman, how about our old Heisman winner back in '89? It's Andre Ware. Andre?
Guys, it very well may be a shootout between two talented young quarterbacks, but this game might come down to special teams. And if it does, it may be a concern for Florida. Last week versus Kentucky, they gave up 30 points in mistakes on special teams in the kicking game. The Gators had problems in every aspect. They fumbled a punt. They gave up a punt return for a touchdown, a kickoff return. They missed 2 extra points. Problems everywhere. I talked with Ron Zook minutes ago, and he said freshman Ingle Martin may handle the punting duties today. He has a strong leg. He's athletic. But let's see if he can handle the pressure here at Ole Miss, guys.
Yeah, you know, Andre, watching Martin punt in pregame, he's got that strong leg, but you know what? He's really not one of those guys that I didn't think was going to be a big boomer today, but athletic.
You know, Florida head coach Ron Zook did tell us that the problems against Kentucky on special teams, hey, yeah, they look bad, but they can be fixed.
Yeah, you know, last week against, Kentucky gave them a problem on the punt. Now, there are 4 blockers on the right side of the punt unit. When the middle linebacker from Kentucky moves over, it's 5 on 4. The punter has to go away from the overload side. They just don't execute. They don't have the right call up front. So in my mind, it's not necessarily the Florida players. It has to be the coaching staff that makes the adjustment. They got to coach him up. They got to expect that today Ole Miss will do the same thing. There's David Cutcliffe, 4th season at Ole Miss. Spent 17 seasons, Craig, at Tennessee. How strange. He coached Peyton Manning
And now he coaches his little brother, Eli.
Pretty lucky man, huh?
Amazing. Amazing. First meeting since back in 1995. This series tied at 9-9-1. We're ready to play football here in Oxford. 60,000 plus expected at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Ole Miss won the toss and elected to receive.
Kind of a nice day, isn't it?
Oh,
this is college football. You know, great atmosphere, beautiful day. Couple of good quarterbacks to boot.
I was worried when Friday came around and we had little storms blow through here during the south because of Hurricane Lily, but it is spectacular in Oxford. 69 degrees at game time. Ole Miss at 3-1, coming off a bye week after beating Vandy in a shootout 45-38. And the Gators winning a week ago in a shootout against Kentucky 41-34. Collins at the 1-yard line and maybe to the 15. A 13-yard return for Collins. And here comes Ole Miss. It's Eli Manning, a junior from New Orleans. The bloodline you know all about. 6'5", 218 pounds.
You know, you talk about the bloodline. He's a wonderful kid. I respect the Manning family as much as any family I've ever met. I mean, they all are themselves on the field, but they do work together collectively to support each other.
He's coming off a career game against Vanderbilt. 386 yards, a pair of touchdowns of 78 and 79 yards. And they're going to start on the ground. The Rebels may be back to the original line of scrimmage. Let's set up that Ole Miss offense. And here's the Alamo starting offense. And up front, it's Stallings, Buckles, Claxton, and the Johnson brothers, Marcus and Belton. Pearson gets the start. Rosano, the fullback. Flowers, Armstead, and Rice. If that name sounds familiar, it's the nephew of Jerry Rice, and he does wear Uncle's number 80.
We'll see if he can deal like number 80.
No gain on the play. Second down, 10. Manning wants to throw. Timing pass, far sideline. Was it a juggling catch? It's complete at the 36-yard line, and what a catch. 21-yard pass play.
You know, I mentioned that they have to do 3-step drops today. That's their big play right there. Not a 7-step drop, let it go down the field after 3.5 seconds. That's the way that they can create some big opportunities by getting rid of it quickly.
And how interesting for Eli Manning has not been sacked this season. Goes all the way back to November 17th of last year. There's the 5-step drop. Goes through his reads and now flips it. That could be a lateral. It's picked up.
They're calling fumble on that. The referee did not blow it dead.
Clint Mitchell bringing the heat from the Florida front.
Incomplete. Incomplete pass.
I don't know what Steve Landis was waiting on. He didn't make a call right away. He was looking at one of the line judges to make a call on it. You know, Manning moves to the outside. They say that he's been really smart at getting rid of the ball quickly. This is a fear I had of this game all along, is that Ole Miss line not being able to hold on to them. Florida's defense is quick up front. They will get to Manning.
That brings up second down and 10. We played a minute of the first quarter. 4 wide receivers. Ole Miss spreads the field. Manning under pressure. Throws the ball incomplete. And again, for the second consecutive play, heavy pressure by the front of Florida. Defensively, for the 6th-ranked Gators, that defensive line is tough, led by Okendo Johnson. Scott, Mitchell on the other end. The linebackers very good. McCullough, Hardman, and Mike Natile. And the secondary of Cromartie, Johnson, Scott, and Ratliff. John Thompson, the defensive coordinator, handles the middle linebackers for the Gators. They load up the near side. 3 wideouts, 1 in the slot. 3rd down 10. SB in motion. They hit the slant, incomplete at midfield. That's a ball Manning would like to have back. Armstead, the intended receiver. The strong safety on his back was Gus Scott.
When Florida's defense gives you that opportunity where there's an individual route being run to the inside, they rushed 6 guys up the middle. Nobody pulled out. They showed 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers, and they took them all in rush man. He has to connect when he gets the singles on, especially going across the middle.
Corey Ridgway averaging just under 45 yards of punt. Back to kick. Ratliff. Good high hanger. Takes it at the 17. Ratliff dances to the 26-yard line. And Rob Robertson, number 81, with a special teams tackle. 47-yard punt and a 9-yard return. Scoreless in Oxford. The Gators and the Rebels. We'll be back
on the NFL Today.
Welcome back to Oxford, Mississippi. First chance offensively for the Florida Gators. They will start at their own 26-yard line. One back set. Ernest Graham, the tailback. Grossman, 3-step drop, throw sideline, incomplete the call. That brings a roar of approval from this Ole Miss crowd. And here's Rex Grossman, a 6'1", 215-pound or 220 junior. He's the #1 ranked quarterback in the SEC. Craig, averaging over 285 yards a game, and that ranks 6th nationally. This offense a little bit more balanced now with Ron Zook, run and pass. 3 wideouts near side on 2nd down. Graham starts inside, goes out. He's a power back with speed and rumbles to the 34-yard line. Josh Cooper, the right defensive end, made the tackle. And here's the Alamo starting offensive lineup for the Gators. It's Stark, Snell, DeGore, and Mitchell, along with Cologne. Graham, Jacobs, Perez, Kite, and Walker. Walker, the tight end. That's their base set, and they mix it up quite a bit. 3rd down and 1 this season, Craig, 8 of 10. Very effective on short yardage. They line up in the eye. Taylor Jacobs in motion. Graham, the ball carrier, close. It looks like the spot on the field will give it to him by about a yard, maybe a half a yard. Matt Greer came up to make the tackle. Defensively for Ole Miss, it's Cooper, Johnson, Mitchell, and Charlie Anderson on the end. It's a 4-2-5 set with Strong and Wade, the linebackers, and the 5 defensive backs of Blanchard, Hutchins, Oliver, Greer. They move it around quite a bit. Blanchard and Travis Johnson both getting their first starts of the season in the secondary. 1st down. Grossman looks near side, flips it to the flat. Oh, what a move. There is a flag. A move and a heck of a shot, but it's going to cost Florida. Graham, the running back, and Jesse Mitchell came over from the nose tackle, number 95, to make the tackle.
Yeah, I tell you what you're seeing now is this offense spreading it around, moving it. No huddle offense, going to the line of scrimmage, making the calls, getting the matchups that they want.
On the offense. 10-yard penalty.
Steve Landis, our referee today. Well, offensive sets, Craig, are nothing new. 74 different offensive sets the Gators have used, and with 8 different personnel sets.
You saw how spread out they did that play right there, how spread out that Ole Miss defense was.
They fake the handoff. Now they throw to the flat near side. There's another flag down at the 28. Matt Jackson made the reception. Eddie Strong, who's only had 5 plays all season long, who got injured in preseason drills with an ankle, makes the tackle.
Watching the Rebels defense, Ole Miss getting to the ball a lot quicker than I thought. I mean, this is a defense that has to play with enthusiasm today. They got to be moving to the ball.
You know, that was one of the questions you and I were talking about. Just how can Ole Miss respond to these different sets? Gators really spread the field.
We've seen it many times here already in this opening series, how they're working the defense. They're getting the matchups that they want. They're spreading out the Rebels defense. A little pressure on that guy, huh?
Oh, yeah. First down, Florida. Again, they spread the field, 3 to the near side. Grossman from the shotgun. Good protection, steps and fires, complete to the 39-yard line. It's Carlos Perez, the junior from Hoboken, New Jersey. That's his 18th catch of the season.
You know, one of the things they're doing, they're rushing 4, dropping 7, but right now Ole Miss isn't finding the zone lanes. Carlos Perez just kind of hooks up between the linebacker support and the outside corner. And they had flooded the outside, and Perez hooks up. And that's what I'm talking about. Grossman being so smart. Just take what the defense gives you.
Here's another interesting set. They split the backfields, and now Grossman steps to the shotgun. Now he steps back under center. Second down from the 40-yard line. Little option play. Big hole, right side. Carthon, the ball carrier, tackled by Eric Oliver. Let's go to New York for a college football update. Here's Tim Brando. Timmy.
All right, Craig. Here's one the Big Pony would like, a little option play. Scott McBride of Maryland taking it in, something you won't see much of today in Oxford. Terps up on West Virginia 7-0. Craig.
So the Terrapins with the early lead. Here it's scoreless in Oxford. Gators near midfield at the 49-yard line. 1st and 10. Graham lays the hit near the first down at the 42-yard line. Well, Graham hit by Travis Johnson. We talked to Travis yesterday, a redshirt freshman from Shannon, Mississippi, making his first start at corner. He said, you know what, I have no fear. I just go out and play my game.
Yeah, look at this little stretch out to the outside. See how they've stretched it? Here he is out here. They've got to really be prepared to get off their blocks. They've got to get to the sidelines, push the runners and Graham back to the middle of the field. That's where Eddie Strong and linebackers have to make the play.
7th play of this drive. Kelvin Kite makes the catch, maybe a yard to the 39-yard line.
One of the things we heard from Ole Miss was how they wanted to rotate a lot of guys on that interior 6. You know, that 4-2-5 defense. Those first 6 guys really trying to stay fresh. It's going to be very important that they get in substitutions early enough to get on the field ready to play.
Boy, Gators are working it quickly on the offensive end. There's a helmet on the field. Grossman sets and throws, incomplete. Now a flag is tossed at midfield. 3 red jerseys coming off the deck. And Grossman, who was being chased, took a shot. Eddie Strong maybe leading that charge. Boy, Eddie Strong was excited to get back on the football field. Had an ankle in the preseason scrimmage. Only got 5 plays against Texas Tech, and he's been sitting in a long time.
He needs to trim that enthusiasm, though, boss.
Well, you know it's hard not to pin those ears back.
They'd already knocked the helmet off of one of the offensive linemen. They felt it. They had him vulnerable.
They're going to walk this football down around the 23-yard line. So the Gators will have a first down.
Look at the tempo. Look at the tempo and the pace of the pressure that they're putting on the Ole Miss defense. Florida going to line of scrimmage. They're moving.
This offense rolling up 34.5 points a game, over 450 yards of offense. Pretty impressive on this first drive despite some penalties. Coming back against the grain to the 19-yard line, Ernest Graham. He's coming off a 102-yard performance against Kentucky. That's his 7th career 100-yard game. He's the total package, Greg. I know 5'9" in stature, but boy, 215 pounds. He can take a hit, he can deliver the punishment, and make some good cutbacks.
Good eyes. You know, that was that zone block again, their bread and butter. The first time they jumped to the outside, that time he went right and cut back up the middle because Ole Miss jumped out of their respectable lanes.
Graham 4 carries for 25 yards. The pitch, patience. The hole closed, however, in a hurry. Good pursuit by Ole Miss. Graham tackled at the 18-yard line by Eric Oliver, the free safety.
There goes that substitution. Ole Miss trying to get them in the game. There comes 4 or 5 new bodies. They're trying to get fresh blood in there. Ole Miss has to be worn out on defense.
Yarick Johnson checks in. Jesse Mitchell checks in. Yeah, they were going to rotate 8 to 10 players on that front this afternoon. 10th play of the drive. 3 wideouts, top of your screen. Grossman pumps, once the end zone, has a man, back line, incomplete. Oh, the toes were planted. But the officials were right on the scene, and they call it incomplete. Taylor Jacobs on the back line of the end zone.
Yeah, there's a little schooling on that route, the old out and up. At about the 5-yard line, he bended it out to the outside. Decided to go for a cup of water in the nickel seats in the end zone, and the DB didn't go with him.
35-yard field goal will be attempted by Mac Leach. He's 3 of 4 on the season, his longest of 41, and this ball will not make it. Special team woes continue for the Florida Gators.
Ugly last week, and it continues today. And what that does now is that puts pressure. That puts pressure on Florida. Now they're going to be thinking about it every single time they walk to the line of scrimmage.
Welcome back to Oxford, Mississippi. 8:22 remaining in this opening quarter. Scoreless between the 6th-ranked Florida Gators and the Ole Miss Rebels. You know, Craig, we talked about, and Andre mentioned it in the pregame, about the woes of special teams last week. I mean, basically, you can just say horrid against Kentucky. Lucky to beat the Wildcats 41-34. Here on their first drive, they move. Quick pace offense, and they can't get the field goal.
Well, you know what it does is it gives the opponent, they're like a dog that sees a box of milk bones out there, you know, and they've seen the game film. They realize there's a box of milk bones over there. They're going for it. You know, they're going to have that pressure on every phase of special teams throughout the day.
You made a nice point, though. What does it do now mentally for the rest of 3.5 quarters of football?
Big part of the game.
Little shovel pass in the middle. Whistles blow the play dead. There was a flag down in on the 36-yard line. Pearson, the ball carrier.
Delay of the game by the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Delay of the game coming out of a commercial break. That's not how you follow up a big play on special teams, is it?
No. Take me back, though, to your playing days. When you come out of a break like that, would you already have 1 or 2 plays called? I mean, would you go that
one
far?
play. One play,
over?
yeah. We weren't smart enough to remember 2.
Big hole, second man through, and a big rumble. Pearson, Natil brought him down. Vashawn Pearson is a redshirt freshman coming off a 2-touchdown performance against Vanderbilt. That's his 31st carry of the season out of Ripley, Mississippi.
And he's bringing it to him. You know what? I mean, that's just going out there and giving him a ride. Mike Natil, the linebacker, 59 at Florida, got about a 5-yard pony ride.
Ole Miss stays on the ground. Not much this time for Pearson. Hey, for complete play-by-play information on top 25 games, just click on NCAA football at CBSSportsline.com or on America Online. Enter keyword CBS Sportsline.
Last play, Vashawn Pearson's got to be more patient. I mean, it's a counter. He's got his guard and tackle. They're coming around, and he jumps in their fanny before they get to the lane. He's got to let the play develop.
Chris Collins, your lone wideout to the near side. On 3rd down, call it 2. Pearson tripped up. He'll be close. Going to be short. Clinton Mitchell went low and cut the legs out.
Goes back to the delay of game. What does a delay of game do to you? Penetration comes in by Florida's defense, and to me that he's just running. Pearson's running with his eyes down. He's not seeing the game right now. He's just running.
Ridgway will punt for the 2nd time. His first kick traveled 47 yards. Another good one. Spirals tight, hangs high. Ratliff at the 19, heads to the far sideline, and is trapped at the 26-yard line by Mike Espy. special teams tackle. 52-yard boot and an 8-yard return.
I'd say the Ole Miss special teams doing their job today, wouldn't you?
.6:14 left, opening quarter in Oxford. Double tight set for the Florida Gators on this offensive series. Aaron Walker, Ben Troop, number 82-84. Again, just another offensive set that you're going to see all afternoon. So far on tape, they've been 74 different offensive sets with 8 different sets of personnel.
And they're throwing them at them in a hurry.
Grossman, good protection, throws deep, has man coverage, and overthrows his wide receiver, Taylor Jacobs. Let's go back to New York for a college football today update. Here's Tim Brando.
All right, fellas. Pittsburgh hasn't beaten Syracuse at Syracuse since 1982, but Rod Rutherford here hits Larry Fitzgerald, and it's 7-3 Panthers. Let's get back to Craig and Craig.
He can't mess that name up, that toss there, can he?
No.
Let's go to the Craig guys.
If he does, he's in trouble. Second down, 10 from the shotgun, Grossman. Delay draw, Graham breaks a tackle, lowers his pads to the 33. Eddie Strong in on his second tackle of the day. Craig Rex Grossman, of course, pretty impressive start of this season. 1,429 yards. A slow start today, only 1 of 4 for 8 yards. Big third down. 3 wideouts near side. Low snap, Grossman pedals back, looks, some pressure, throws, and little pitch and catch middle of the field, and it's brought down by Carlos Perez. His second catch of the season. Eric Oliver, the free safety, came over to make the stop, but not before a Gator first down.
That's twice now that Carlos Perez has settled into his little pocket, into his zone. Grossman gets back. Graham swings wide to the left side. Perez settles down. Sit there. Don't move. Stay where you are.
That completion as flags fly. Grossman just passed Wayne Pease for 5th place on the Gators' career passing yards. Over 7,200.
Movement by the offensive line. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
I would imagine Grossman stays in the left lane all year, passing lane, you know. He's going to pass a lot of guys in front of him before this thing's over with.
There's more to come. So Grossman moves up. He still has John Reeves in his sights. Kerwin Bell on first down and 5. Grossman on the rollout. Sets and fires in traffic. Picked off at the 40-yard line. It's Ole Miss football. Travis Johnson, the redshirt freshman. Hello, Division I football.
And the Ole Miss staff said they wanted to put a new guy in there to get a little more height to him.
A little more physical play.
6'1", a physical guy. A nice job of execution. I thought of setting the play up. Guard pulls around the right side. Grossman swings to the right. But Johnson gets back. He saw what was happening. Perez came across the field, and that 6'1" frame, the big frame they were looking for, that extra inch or two, paid off for the Rebels.
7th interception thrown by Grossman, and the first career pick by Travis Johnson. Eli Manning wants to throw, and he does. And Ole Miss wastes no time. Rosano, the fullback, number 42 out of Milford, Ohio. And Ratliff had to bring him down. A little mismatch there on size. Rosano weighs in at 230. Ratliff around 180. You know, they will throw to the fullbacks quite a bit. Rosano, Tremaine Turner, and also Pearson's going to get quite a few balls thrown his way.
Especially now that Doug Ziegler's out of the game.
Yeah.
You know, that no longer in this lineup. They have to throw to Rosano more.
Lost their tight end against Vanderbilt to a broken leg. He's out for the season. Manning, little pump, throws, middle of the field, incomplete. Had a man wide open, but overthrew Biddle, Tay Biddle. Let's go back to New York. Big Ten update.
Oh, yeah.
Tim Brando.
One of the big surprises in the Big Ten has been the play of Iowa, but Purdue, Kyle Orton doing what Drew Brees used to do, finding underneath John Standiford, and he takes it in for the touchdown. It's now a 7-3 Boilermaker lead over the Hawkeyes. Back to Craig and the big punt.
Hey, Timmy, you know what? The Big Ten's kind of like the Pac-10. You never know what's going to happen on any given Saturday.
Third down, Eli Manning, 2 of 6 early for 24 yards. SB in motion. Manning steps, pumps, now slings it to the middle of the field, incomplete. That was Jason Armstead, the intended receiver. You saw Manning, he went up top, pulled it back down, and then did a little sidearm kick. He had complete pass.
He had Mike SB deep. He had SB deep, didn't realize it, tried to reload and hit the underneath guy. Eli's seeing a lot of white jerseys right now. He's not playing a game, you know, and Grossman's pretty much the same way. These two quarterbacks, with all of the expectations for this game, neither one of them living up to it.
Both these teams very potent offensively. Ole Miss 35.5 points a game, while the Gators score 34.4 in another. Booming kick by Ridgeway, taken at the 4-yard line by Ratliff. He breaks the tackle, dodges another, and then dropped at the 11-yard line. Lorenzo Townsend. And you cannot complain about special teams, especially on the punting side of the ball for Ole Miss. 55-yarder with a 6-yard return.
Yeah, I'd say they're carrying Mr. Manning right now is what they're doing.
Battle the Jets. Check local listings beginning with Jim, Dion, Dan, and Boomer on the NFL Today. For more, of course, go to NFL.com. America Online keyword NFL.com.
This offense is going so fast they won't even let you get your promos in.
No, they won't. I'm looking down there saying, Rick, slow this thing up a little bit.
We need to send them down a little bit. Hey, Coach Zook, can you slow it down some?
Third down short. They need to get just past the 20-yard line. Gators 2 of 3 on third down tries. Power eye. Perez in motion. No. Ole Miss. Oh, I tell you, they bent, but they didn't break. See a red. It will bring up fourth down, about a half a yard. You know, Craig, we were talking during the break. This has been so far a quarter of field position. The punting game right now for Ole Miss kind of winning the battle.
And the fact that Ole Miss's defense has figured out the tempo here. Chuck Dreisbach's done a heck of a job of getting his guys prepared for it's like full court press. This is a basketball game that they're playing at Florida right now. They're on the court moving up and down.
They stretch the chains that much. So Ole Miss will have good field position.
You know, we may want to keep a camera on Ron Zook because if they block this punt, I'd like to see how high he gets.
Well, Lingo Martin is going to punt this football. He backs up Rex Grossman at quarterback. He's a redshirt freshman from Nashville.
He's got a two-step approach to his punt. Most traditional punters are three-step. He's two-step. And so that's going to help him get the ball away a little quicker and more than likely prevent a block.
Jason Armstead awaits at the 40 for Ole Miss.
Shane gang trying to get their I saw those guys in the lobby this morning.
Shane gang?
Oh yeah. Cup of coffee. May have had too much coffee.
They've stretched him back. Fourth down and short. Martin, not a good kick.
No.
End over end, takes a Gator bounce. Touched at the 45, and you know what? It was on the back leg of a Rebel, and the Gators recovered. Deshaun Carter recovered the fumble after a touch an Ole Miss player.
Was blocked into contact with the ball.
Oh, there's a break. Yeah, Wesley Bryant, right on the right side of your screen over here. You see him being blocked. Number 31, Desmond Johnson, gets blocked back into the ball by Rule, as he's saying.
So instead of Gator football at the 45 of Ole Miss, the Rebels catch a break, and they'll get it 1st and 10 with good field position, a 36-yard punt. 2:11 left in this opening quarter. Reverse. They fake it. Fumble. It's on the deck. Gators have it at the 37-yard line. Little razzle-dazzle by the Rebels, and the Gators stayed home. Bailey recovered the fumble, and Ratliff caused Manning to lose it.
There's so much razzle-dazzle going on here. This here is the fake reverse. That's considered a sack and a fumble, which would be, I believe, the first sack of the season allowed by Ole Miss. You can't. There's no way that you can take that much time against the Florida Gators defensive line. They're going to get to you.
You just witnessed the first sack, by the way, by Ole Miss's front line since November 17 of last year against the Georgia Bulldogs. They fake it to Graham. Grossman pulls up, throws, incomplete. Overthrows his wide receiver. Brown, the intended receiver, number 16.
You know, it's almost like Grossman and Manning got together and said, hey, let's just go ahead and play like dogs in the first quarter, and then we'll put on a show the last three. Because right now, both guys are not hitting their receivers that are open.
Grossman coming off a 375-yard performance against Kentucky last week. He was 28 of 43. Right now, 2 of 17 for 19 yards and an early interception. Up the middle goes Graham. Breaks the tackle past the 35 to the 33-yard line.
Wasn't that you saying this guy's a strong runner?
Oh,
he is strong.
I like Ernest Graham.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times people say, well, 5'9", little scat back. But you always like a running back who will initiate contact. He's not afraid to take the hit. Plus, he's got good eyes, as you mentioned, and he's able to wiggle and waggle through a lot of big boys.
It's called a strike zone. There's that brief moment, that pregnant pause right before the defender hits you. He gets into them.
You can't teach that.
No, that's natural.
3 wideouts near side. 3rd down for the Gators. Scoreless here in Oxford. Long snap count. Shotgun. Grossman. Did he catch it? Nope. Incomplete. The call, he trapped it. Taylor Jacobs, the intended receiver, and that's really his go-to guy. Came in with 36 receptions on the season.
And this is a precise route. He came back to the ball even, and that ball still was underthrown. I mean, it's almost like Grossman and that offensive line not quite sure what's going on up front with the blitzing, and there are more guys dropping out than they thought.
That brings up 4th down. This season, the Gators, Craig, have converted 5 of 9. Again, 4 wideouts, 3 to the near side. Shotgun for Grossman. Good protection. Pumps, throws, has a deep man. Man coverage. Incomplete in the end zone, but a flag is down. There was some contact. Travis Johnson, the right corner, and he had some contact with Jacobs.
And I thought that call from the behind ref, the official, you know, he goes right through him. And
pass interference by the defense, 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Well, Travis Johnson, you know, he made a big play earlier with the interception, but he gets behind. He gets in the hip pocket here. He's holding on to him, and he does definitely pass interfere with Taylor Jacobs. He just timed it wrong. Look, his coordination was off on the whole play.
1st and 10, Gators at the 18 of Ole Miss. Graham, the lone back. Handoff, cuts to the outside, and maybe picks up 2. Justin Wade, the middle linebacker, made the tackle. Final seconds of this quarter beginning to tick down, under 50.
Wade did a heck of a job there of coming from the backside because they ran that zone blocking again just to the right, trying to stretch the defense. He took away the cutback and made the play from behind.
A pickup of 2. 2nd down, call it 8. Play action. Grossman to the end zone, incomplete. Ben Troop, the tight end, was there. Grossman had a little hitch in that throw. Troop was open momentarily, and that brings up third down.
He had a hitch because the tight end was covered early. Troop was covered. They had that where everybody goes in, just tries to knock the feet down and the hands down of the defense and then let it up in the air quick, but he had to reload to give Troop more time.
You know, the Gators just continue to work it quick here, don't they, in the first quarter?
I'm tired. I'm tired. How about you?
I look down, they're back at the line. From the shotgun, almost exclusively here in the opening quarter. Got man coverage. Touchdown, Gators! Carlos Perez, 16 yards on the pass play.
Matt Greer's outside wide with Carlos Perez. Perez has already had a couple of very nice catches to the inside where he sat down in the hole. Strong, it looked like almost like a blown assignment there. The coverage just wasn't right, and Strong was trying to get back over there, or Greer was, to make up for his mistake.
Matt Leach will try the extra point. 17 of 22 on PATs on the season, and he boots it through. Perez and Grossman hook up. 7-0 Gators with 19 seconds left in the opening quarter here in Oxford. Florida on top of Ole Miss 7-0. Grossman to Carlos Perez, 16-yard touchdown. A minute 45 off the clock, and Craig, one of the key plays, that pass interference call on 4th and 5 that kept that drive moving.
Well, right now at this point, 23 Florida offensive plays to 12 for Ole Miss. That Ole Miss defense is bound to be getting tired, and they're going to make mistakes.
Chris Collins, 3 yards deep, brings it out. Stumbles and falls inside the 15 at the 14-yard line. Well, Wednesday on CBS, an all-new amazing race. The teams make their way through Mexico en route to their next destination. Could diving with dolphins provide the clue they need? It's an all-new amazing race Wednesday at 9, 8 Central, right here on CBS, America's most watched network. You ever dove with dolphins?
Well, you know, there's a lot of good things that come to my mind when we talk. Let me get back to football for you. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to go back to football note for you. Since 1990, when Florida scores first, they're 94-9. That's 91% of the time they win if they score first.
Whistles. The handoff went to the Rosano.
I tell you what, it's not working. Ole Miss huddling up on the sidelines and running out there and going straight to the line of scrimmage. They may go a little bit more traditional.
Movement by the offensive line. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
They had the delay of game following the last commercial break from the sidelines. They huddle up, talk about it, and then they go right to the line of scrimmage.
Movement.
You know, movement that time. You know, go ahead and get in the huddle back there because that's not working. And their offense is really putting their defense at a disadvantage.
McClendon lines up as the tailback. Rosano the fullback. 1st and 15. Manning changing things up at the line.
Look at all that movement of Florida Gators defense.
Up the middle. Breaks a tackle to the 21. Terrific run by McClendon. Gus Scott made the tackle. And that will end the first quarter with the score: the Gators of Florida 7, Ole Miss nothing. We'll return to Vaught Hemingway Stadium after this message and a word from your local station.
Let's go! Come on, Rose, let's go!
Florida leading by 7 over Ole Miss as we start the second quarter. Eli Manning under center, 2nd down. Call it 3 from the 21. Rebels stay on the ground and plow for maybe 1. McClendon, the ball carrier. Lefevre made the tackle. Well, the Gators just continue to roll through all sorts of different fronts. Okendo Johnson, Lefevre, Mitchell, Roll, Reynolds. Third down and 1. I know it's 7-0, Craig, but this right now, big play right here for Ole Miss. No.
He's got to get there. He's got to get up off the ground. All the bodies are down low.
I mean, he went right pad to pad, but you're right. You got to elevate.
You got to get a little air. You got to go Michael on this one here. I mean, look, there's nobody that's penetrating. The offensive line does their job. You've got to get air. And they did their job up front. And you can't go for it here. There's no way.
They will bring the chains out.
Whatever that Florida combination on defense has been doing has worked out, because Ole Miss at this point in the first quarter had 1 first down. And again, what does the false start illegal procedure penalty do for you? It keeps you from getting a first down. The last series Ole Miss had, they had to delay a game to start them off. So 1st and 15, just not getting it done for Ole Miss's offense.
You know, I don't know how many times Ridgeway can give yourself some room to breathe, but so far 3 kicks, 51-yard average, his longest of 55. He's inside his 10-yard line, and Ratliff will wait around the 27. Good snap. They bring some pressure. Straight up. Takes a bounce and an Ole Miss roll to the 45-yard line.
I'll tell you what they did. Florida changed up their look and made it look like they were coming with a pressure on the punter, and that got in Ridgeway's head. That's why he messed it up. 33 yards.
Timeout in Oxford. Florida will have it and up by 7 when we come back. Back at Ole Miss, Florida Gators ranked 6th in the country, up by 7, have the football at the 45-yard line. Play action. Grossman, good protection, throws near sideline. Oh, what a catch. Over the shoulder, Taylor Jacobs, first down at the 38-yard line. 17 yards.
You know what? Here they go. They bring in Chris Knight at corner. Travis Johnson comes out. He just had the pass interference call on him. Jacobs comes over, works out, back to the inside, back to the outside, and that was execution. Grossman getting back, getting rid of the football.
Again, the Gators game plan, let's waste no time. They continue to just go right to the line. Grossman calling plays. 8th first down of this game for the Gators. Only 1 for Ole Miss. Good protection. Grossman pumps, throws that ball tipped to the line of scrimmage, incomplete.
Grossman's pass is incomplete.
All right, Craig, how about a look at the Aflac trivia question of the day? This is going to make you think. How many players on today's teams, both teams, have fathers who played in the National Football League? Think about that. We'll give the answer a little bit later. How many players on today's teams have fathers who played in the NFL?
My guess would be they're more on Florida's side than Ole Miss side. All right, I kind of give you that feel. I got a feel for that.
Stay tuned. We'll have the answer. 2nd down for Grossman at the Ole Miss 38-yard line. Sets up and throws over the middle, incomplete. Double coverage. Kite, the intended receiver, and let's go back to New York. Here's Tim Brando.
All right, fellas, Maryland's Ralph Friedgen's got to be happy. Scott McBrien's playing well. Josh Allen had a 70-yard run from scrimmage. And look at Steve Suter, 80 yards on the punt return at Mountaineer Field, West Virginia, putting a hurting on Maryland.
28-0. On the road. Crowd on their feet. Ole Miss trying to hold the Gators here on 3rd down and 10.
This is 2-down territory, by the way. You know they'll go again for it on 4th down.
3 wideouts to the top of your screen. Pressure. Grossman throws up and over, incomplete. He wanted Ernest Graham, was held up, could not get out of the backfield because of that heavy rush by the Ole Miss Rebels. That brings up 4th and 10.
Grossman's begging and pleading for him to let him go for it. If they'd got any kind of positive yardage out of that, they would have. But 4th and 10, a little bit stout. Spurrier to gone for it, don't you think? Huh?
You know what? I was just thinking the same thing. No question. Martin's first punt traveled 36 yards. This will be a little pooch. Armstead back to receive around the 10. Instead lets it go, takes a bounce into the end zone, so a break for Ole Miss. They'll start their next drive with a 20, a 38-yard punt. CBS Sports coverage of the Home Depot SEC on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. .13:05 left before the half. Eli Manning, to surprise you, 2 of 7, 24 yards, hit his first attempt for 22 yards to Pearson.
Movement. Third series in a row where they've started off screwed up.
You know what? And again, you go back to an interesting point. Every time we go to commercial break, Ole Miss heads to the sideline. Now, I know they got a little meeting, Cutcliffe's talking things over, but I don't know if that breaks concentration or what.
It's not working. They had the delay of the game. And 1st and 15. They get a nice run. They can't convert to first down. Then they come out here and they have 2 false starts. It's just hurting these guys. 6 penalties now, 50 yards, and most of them on first down, which is really restricting them.
Pushes you back to the 15. That's where they start now. 1st and 15 from the shotgun is Manning. Low snap, quick throw to the 21-yard line. A pickup of 6. Freifogel, a sophomore. There's John Latina, the offensive coordinator, also handles the O-line in his 4th season under Cutcliffe. So 2nd down and 9 after a pickup of 6. Manning, pressure, down, nope. Houdini still on his feet, dumps it off at the 25. You got to be kidding. To the 36-yard line. First down, Ole Miss. 14 yards.
I got to see. Tell me right where you thought it was a sack. Was that right there, Bowler?
Right there, gone.
But no, there's more. Manning with that 6'5" body frame, strong, getting outside, making the completion. That might be the kind of play that allows this offense to get something going. I mean, maybe they need to go to the line of scrimmage. Maybe they need to imitate a little bit what Florida's doing. They got to get a little mode. You
know, Eli went to the weight room in the offseason, put on 10 pounds. He just proved me wrong. Able to muscle out of a sack and gets a first down. Not much. Tremaine Turner cut down around the 37-yard line. A pickup of 1, 2nd down 9.
I can tell you, as a former runner, I'm watching these guys, and they're running hard. There's no doubt about that. But they're running with a mission as opposed to running with their eyes. Their feet will follow them if their eyes will work for them. Right now, their eyes aren't working. They're just, if it's there straight ahead, they're going. If it's not, they're going to run into whoever's there.
Rosano and Turner, both fullbacks, line up with Manning in the backfield. He'll roll right and throw quickly. Oh, good. Chop down tackle at the 40. Kerry Johnson made the catch. But Ratliff got you right around the knees. No place to go.
Tricked him on the coverage. Made it look like he was going to bail out of there and go deep, but he peeled off and came right back to the flat.
3rd and 6 for Ole Miss on their own 40.
3rd down and 6 for Ole Miss. Florida defense, Craig, has stopped 15 straight 3rd down conversions. Today, 4.
Well, entering the game, they were giving up only 29% of conversions, so they're strong on 3rd down.
3 wideouts near side on 3rd down. Manning steps up and throws in the seam. It's going to be close on the spot. Espy made the reception, and from this vantage point, it's a good spot. They got it by a yard. First down, Ole Miss.
Mike Espy got the depth that he needed. He didn't go short on the route, and it was the great discipline there. It's not that the Ole Miss receivers aren't getting open. They just haven't been able to connect with Manning, and it seems like now he's getting a little bit more rhythm, a little bit more confidence
you're right.
That offensive line.
That's the key word. There is a rhythm on this drive. Manning, pressure, throws over the middle, caught. Espy again, the go-to man. Ole Miss knocking on the door at the 39-yard line. Espy was a big receiver against Vandy. He had a 78-yard touchdown reception from Manning in that ball game. 13 yards and another first down.
Yeah, I think right now what's happening in here, that the Florida's defense is doing so much pre-snap movement, it's not working for them. You know, they're confusing themselves. They're not being aggressive. They're not lined up with their ears, you know, pinned back, trying to get a ball carrier or a quarterback.
This drive, Manning, perfect. 5 for 5 for 44 yards. From the eye, play action. Manning rolls out and throws wide open. Freifogel to the 21. Ratliff wrapped him up, and this crowd is humming.
Oh, look, they do a little bootleg here. Get to the outside. They have the boot misdirection. They come to Freifogel to the outside. A little shake and bake. Runs right through him. What is that now? 6 of 6 on this drive.
6 of 6.
I think there's a word right now that you could say about Ole Miss. They truly are offensive. They are on the offense.
Timeout called by the Florida Gators. Impressive drive, and this crowd on their feet. A sea of red in Oxford. 9:20 to go in the half.
And Craig.
Gators by 7 with 9:20 left. But Ole Miss on the move. Look at Eli Manning's numbers, Craig. 2 of 7 to start. On this drive alone, 6 of 6 for 64 yards. First down, Ole Miss at the 21-yard line. Little pitch out. Turning the corner. Turner, for a fullback, pretty good speed at 5'10", 200, and tackled by Gus Scott, the strong safety. Well, coming up next, keep it right here on CBS. David Green lets the dogs out when Georgia travels to Tuscaloosa to take on Santonio Beard and the Alabama Crimson Tide. For more, go to CBSSportsline.com. America Online, enter keyword CBS Sportsline. Vern and Todd will have that game for you.
And Jill.
And Jill. The pickup was 6. Second down 4 from the 16-yard line. Manning wants to throw. Has a man, lobs it, incomplete, and a flag. Looked like he may have hooked his arm.
That's because he was beaten.
Chris Collins, the intended receiver.
Beautiful route by Collins, and Scott's just beaten. He has no choice but to get there. Did you see that pass? Huh? How sweet was that?
Great touch.
Beautiful pass. Great route.
Pass interference by the defense. By rule, the ball will be placed on the 2-yard line.
So first and goal to go for Ole Miss.
First down.
Impressive drive, of course, helped out there by the pass interference call against Florida. Manning has really found his rhythm on this drive.
You know, Florida's defense just not quite sure what's coming at them. You know, they had some different type of running plays, not necessarily the I formation, and it's the 9th play, which means the Florida defense getting a little tired.
They go to the power game. Could not get up and over. Pearson this time must have heard you. He did leave his feet, was met with pads around the 2-yard line, maybe the 1. Ian Scott, who's an Outland Trophy watch list candidate, squared up the pads and made the hit. Number 99, big number Ian Scott, 305-pounder. It's tough to move that front of Florida.
This is where they'd like to have a guy like Doug Ziegler right now, huh? The old tight end.
From the eye, second and goal, up and close, but no. Again, they try to go to the air with Vashon Pearson. Bam Hardman this time filled the gap.
But you got to know when to jump. You can't jump too soon. You can't jump too late. Bam Hardman, he timed his jump well. It's a collision at the goal line. As big as Ole Miss's offensive line is, like one of the top 10 in size, 315-pound average, they're supposed to slobber knock somebody right now. You know, they got to score with their man, and that'll let Pearson get in the end zone.
Turner's the fullback. Pearson the tailback. Third down and goal. Up and for the 3rd time denied. What a stand by the Gators front. Bam Hardman again with the straight-on hit on Pearson. 4th and goal inside the 1-yard line.
I'm not real smart, but I believe what I do is not up the middle. You know, that isn't working. So somehow you got to stretch it a little bit to the outside and get that defense spread out.
They're going for it. Double. They put in both fullbacks, Rosano and Turner. Manning under center, 4th and goal. No! They went with some power with Turner. And on 4 straight tries, the Gator front denies Ole Miss.
Obviously, they're not listening to me, but you see no push. I mean, there's a lot more white jerseys in the backfield than there should be. There's no new line of scrimmage. They did not react like, you know, I mean, they've got to get out of there. They got to push them in there, and Ron Zook's defense just came up big.
Real big. Ole Miss denied. Gators by 7.
The battle begins on an all-new district. CBS tonight.
Now, there was no payday for Ole Miss on that 12-play, 79-yard drive. Here's our Aflac trivia question and answer. How many players on today's teams have fathers who played in the NFL? Well, the answer is 13. You knew that, Craig. Florida with 9, Ole Miss with 4.
I chose the right side at least. I said Florida'd have more, right?
Yes, you did. 12 plays, 79 yards. Eli Manning on that drive, 6 of 6, 63 yards, and no points to show for it.
Yeah, but what they did have that they can show for it, the defense now will rise to the occasion because they had a good breather. They needed a breather.
Drop. Grossman still fumbles, throws from the end zone, incomplete. Flags are down. And Grossman still on the deck. Oh, my. Josh Cooper, Eddie Strong bringing heat for Ole Miss.
Holding his wrist, wasn't he?
Yeah, looks like the left wrist. Let's see it again.
A little safety as well. You know, once he gets back up, he gets hit. And must have tried to break his fall with his arm and hurt his wrist.
Grossman quickly heads to the sideline.
Holding and an intentional grounding in the end zone gets you 2 points. So the defense, like we said, they had the breather, they had the break. They go in, they make a play.
Now I looked at that snap again, looked just a little low, and to his, what, right?
Yeah, just a little bit low. You know what? And maybe the face mask hit him in the left hand. I think it's his left hand, wasn't it? See, his left hand's kind of left hand's to his body. You know, that face mask hits the bones there, and that's a very tender spot to get hit on. So we got a little tweak here to this ball game.
Well, after an impressive drive that Ole Miss got nothing from, you said defense must stand up. They did. A bad snap or a mishandled snap by Grossman as they look at him on the sideline cost Florida the safety, 2 points. So we have a 7-2 ball game with 6:24 remaining in the first half of play. You know, not the high-powered attack we thought we would see, because the Gators, again, you go back to numbers, and if you're into numbers, you're looking at 34.5 points a game for Florida, 35.5 points scored for Ole Miss, and it's 7-2 more than halfway through the second quarter.
But I think it right now a little conservative, but my feeling is neither team running the ball. We could see an aerial assault develop here. I could see that happening.
Matt Petrovich kicks away.
And out of bounds.
Out of bounds. Where will they spot it? And it will be at the 23, 24-yard line.
Kickoff, out of bounds, untouched by the receiving team. Ball will be placed at the 50-yard line, 1st and 10.
Wow. Thursday on Survivor, the tension between two survivors reaches the breaking point. Now it's the women against the men. And a challenge you'll have to see to believe. Don't miss an all-new Survivor Thursday at 8, 7 Central, right here on CBS, America's most watched network.
Going to the line of scrimmage, I like this. You know what? I mean, they need to change the tempo a little bit. Eli's got to look around, though. They are a little discombobulated again coming from the sideline.
First down from midfield. Tough running. And a couple of yards for Pearson. Let's go downstairs. Here's Andre Ware.
Yeah, guys, on Rex Grossman, it's his left hand, maybe the left wrist. They've taped it up pretty good, maybe a sprain. They put a glove on it. They're wrapping tape around the glove. He's trying to take snaps right now from the center. It looks like he's going to go back in. He's a gutsy guy. Back up to you guys.
All right, thank you, Andre. And, of course, there's some battles going on within the NCAA and just around college football about how much information actually you can give out about the injury situation of a player. Florida does not give us that information, and so we had to rely on what the eyes of Andre Ware picked up for us. Pearson, the ball carrier, tripped up around the 46-yard line by Ratliff, who's been very busy.
As long as it's his left, his right hand's on top when he takes the snap. The ball comes up, it's going to pound him on the right hand, so that's not a problem. More than likely he can deal with the pain. It's his left hand.
Clock running with 5:10 remaining in the first half. Third down from the 47. Manning from the shotgun. 4 wide receivers set. 5-step drop over the middle, has a man wide open. Found a seam and just sat there was Jason Armstead.
Kind of tells you a little bit about that Florida secondary's respect for Armstead. They've said that he's a playmaker, that he can move. He has a lot of speed. They gave him a good 5-6 yard cushion. He drove them off the ball, and the execution again for Manning. Eli's heating up right now.
Yeah.
He's seeing the game and taking that defensive effort.
Second year at Ole Miss for Armstead. Play a couple seasons of junior college ball at Gulf Coast Community College in Mississippi. First down, Ole Miss. Little quick pitch to the tight end. Call that Bill Flowers at number 84.
First time you said his name,
yeah.
Isn't it?
Flowers, a sophomore. He had 7 catches for 63 yards against Vanderbilt. Good speedster. Was a high hurdler in high school.
Manning's heating up, as I said. He's hit 9 of his last 9 for 79 yards. And that Florida defense, they don't know whether to rush 3 or drop 7 or 8 into coverage. They're a little confused right now. 8 different receivers have caught the ball, too.
Manning pumps, has man coverage. One-handed grab incomplete. Right off the hand of Collins.
That's not Collins' fault. Manning would like to have that one back. Just a little too much on it. But again, it's not a case of them not getting open. These receivers are open. And that surprised me. I didn't think they'd get as open today as they have. They've been open throughout the game.
You made a point about the confusion because they've split 4 out. You have Flowers to worry about with good speed. Collins has made catches. They respect Armstead. They've got to respect Espy, the redshirt freshman with speed, and Biddle. A lot of man coverage out there. Manning to the flat. Oh, Pearson, hello. Little swing pass, and it's caught, and then Pearson dropped at the 34-yard line. He'll lose a couple.
That's a couple of times now that Ratliff has shown one thing and rolled back into that flat. He's not going deep in coverage, and he's peeling back off of the crossing flat route. Manning needs to make the adjustment there. John Latina really does, the offensive coordinator. He's got to come in and recognize it and make the call that gets the ball a little bit down the field.
Here's a timeout. Ole Miss takes a timeout with 3:06 remaining in the half. Wild game in Oxford. 7-2. Gators.
Monday.
Florida on the road leading Ole Miss 7-2 and catch an all-new week of the Emmy Award-winning Late Show with Dave. Guests include Michelle Pfeiffer, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Charles Barkley, and Bon Jovi. It's an all-new day all this week right here on CBS, America's most watched network. Fourth and 7. Manning steps up, throws in traffic, complete. Flags are down in the backfield at the 39. Kerry Johnson made the catch. Corey Bailey, the strong safety there on coverage, but a flag at the 39-yard line.
And Florida defense, you know, still trying to work. They brought 4 that time, dropped 7, and you would have thought that they would have passed it up on the offensive line and protected them long enough.
By the offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat 4th down.
These penalties at different times in this first half have really hurt Ole Miss, which now will have to punt the football.
And you just answered the question I was going to ask. You know, with 3 minutes left, I mean, field position, you take a chance, but yet you're looking at about a 16-yard gain you need to keep the drive alive.
No way.
7 penalties now for Ole Miss in this half for 60 yards. Ratliff awaits the punt from Ridgeway. Good punt. Takes the bounce, and this was going to roll inside the 5, inside the 3, inside the 2.
Familiar territory for that Florida Gator offense. That struck
Last time down. Welcome back.
Yeah, Mr. Carter. 41 yards. Nice punt.
And coming up on the Gateway halftime report, Tim Brando. Spencer Tillman will get you caught up with all the scores and highlights, plus a preview of our second game. Should be a good one, too, folks. Georgia taking on the Crimson Tide of Alabama. This is deja vu, isn't it? Grossman in. Sidesteps some tacklers, and they rumble to the far side of the field, out of bounds. Carthon at the 12-yard line. Blanchard, good pursuit. But a good run by Carthon, able to break a tackle. He was back around the goal line when...
Hey, that's a 2-point play almost right there. Get to his legs, get to his legs,
right
get to his feet. That was close. Nice job by Carthon of getting around a corner, because that was almost back-to-back safeties by this Ole Miss defense. And obviously, good news for Florida fans. Rex Grossman's back in the game.
Indeed. Has that left wrist, though, heavily taped. Takes the snap from shotgun. Picking his way through the Ole Miss defense. And a good run to the 23-yard line. Von Hutchins made the tackle. Carthon again the ball carrier.
Grossman handed off with his left hand that time as well.
First and 10, Gators. Clock runs, 2:18 left before half. Grossman steps and throws. Flag is down. Carthon again right now getting a load of work on this drive. Eddie Strong made the tackle, but a flag back at the 15.
First down.
Big in there.
Yeah, big. Steve Landis, our referee today.
You know what? This Gator offense shows you how much confidence they have in their running game. They've said so much, made so much mention about it this year, that they can have the balance. They can run the football, and when they outrush their opponents, they typically win football games.
You know, Ernest Graham on his way, could be on his way to a 1,000-yard season, nearly 500 yards coming into this game. Good read by the Ole Miss defense. Carthon wrapped up by Eddie Strong, and Strong having a, can I say it, a strong first half after missing most of this early part of the season with ankle problems. Well, he was excited in our talks yesterday. He said, man, I can hardly wait to get back on the football field. He says, I feel no pain. I'm back and ready.
You see how he hit him high and slid down, got to his legs? Poor tackling is all over America at every level. NFL all the way down to Pee Wee football. That's how you tackle. Get to the runner's legs.
3 wideouts near side. Second down. Grossman over the middle of dart. Caught. Oh, what a beauty. At the 43-yard line. Perez had that ball caught in his face mask.
When you watch him on tape, you know, everybody says Taylor Jacobs this, Taylor Jacobs that. Carlos Perez impresses me a whole lot because he's just not afraid to get hit. That ball right there in the old kisser, 35 yards.
First down, Gators. Good protection, good coverage downfield. They throw to the safety valve. Carthon from the backfield. He'll lose a couple back to the 42. Matt Greer wrapped him up. Timeout with 1:03 left in the half by Florida.
That was a big 35-yard pass completion there. Wasn't it, overcoming the penalty?
And don't forget, this drive started at the 1-yard line.
And almost had the safety, but a nice run by Carthon.
1:03 left before the half. Well, tomorrow, points leader Cristiano Damata, Dario Franchitti, and Michael Andretti are among those expected to Grand Prix Americas. Check your local listings for the times in your area. For more, go to CBSSportsLine.com. America Online keyword, just enter CBS Sportsline. The CART FedEx Championship Series here on CBS.
That kind of reminds me of how I got here yesterday. Flew into Memphis, and I'm telling you, I was running with the Rebels. This group of students passed me.
They waving at you?
We were motoring. I'm telling you, we were hauling fanny over here. I was like, okay, Ole Miss, these guys ready to get to the ball game.
So did you just kind of slip in?
And we were going so fast. I pulled over and got some gas at the end and just bought me a can of motor oil. I felt like I just needed to do something like that.
Oh. Second down and 12, 1:03 before halftime. Stay tuned. Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman will get you caught up. All the highlights, all the scores around college football. 3 wideouts, top of your screen. Ole Miss showing some blitz. Grossman, deep drop, sets up and throws over the middle. Good defense. Coming over the top to knock that ball down was Eric Oliver, the free safety.
You're right about that. That was a heck of a play by Oliver. It's a good job by the secondary of recognizing where the routes were being run. They're not just covering green pasture out there. This Ole Miss secondary, with all the transition they've had recently back there and the switching, they really do recognize and move well.
57 ticks left in this first half. 7-2 Gators. Grossman sets, fires, lobs it up high, and a catch made. Stepping out of bounds to stop the clock is Jacobs at the 42-yard line. 16-yard pass play.
And they make a liar out of me, don't they? You know, I blow their horn how good a job they're doing out there, and then sure enough, Travis Johnson gets turned around. Of course, Taylor Jacobs has turned around a lot of defensive backs in his career.
Taylor Jacobs is the #1 ranked receiver in the SEC. Craig, it's staggering, nearly 130 yards per game so far. Last week against Kentucky, caught 12 footballs for 183 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Again from the shotgun, over the middle, caught at the 21-yard line. What Grossman now like Manning on that last series for Ole Miss, starting to find some rhythm. Matt Jackson makes the catch, a junior from Live Oak, Florida. He's a former safety who turned wide receiver.
When you're dropping 8 like Ole Miss did on that last coverage, you're not supposed to have pockets like that in the middle of the field.
Clock running, 35 seconds. Quick throw, pitch and catch, racing to the sideline, inside the 10 to the 5, and there is a flag down. It was Jackson again. And Blanchard made the tackle, but a flag at the 8-yard line.
Yeah, I think Matt Jackson held him down the field.
offense during the run, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
So instead, inside the 10, that penalty goes around the 19-yard line, pushes you back.
And both offenses have hurt themselves multiple times today.
25 seconds remain. First half, 7-2 Gators trying to add on a few more. Pressure. Grossman on the run, throws. Nearly picked up by Strong around the 10, but just couldn't get up on that high rung of the ladder. That falls incomplete with 18 seconds remaining.
It's like trying to get a little air out of a mud hole, isn't it?
This drive, Grossman, 6 of 8, 80 yards. Again, Florida spreads it with 3 wideouts to the near side. Grossman, the blitz, pressure, touchdown! Carlos Perez. Ole Miss brought the house with a great read by Grossman, and Perez catches his second touchdown.
Rex Grossman has made a lot of fools in the game where they go trips to the right, no help to the inside, man on man. One of those 3 receivers is going to be open unless you get to the quarterback, which they did not. He's going to nail you.
Matt Leach, the extra point. Knuckleball boots it through. And with 13 seconds left, the Gators strike. Ole Miss gambled. Grossman to Perez, 14-2. Craig Bullard, Jack, Craig James, Andre Ware, our CBS crew here in Oxford. Grossman connects late in the second quarter with Carlos Perez. What's impressive, 11 plays. This drive started at the 2-yard line. 98 yards they go in less than 2.5 minutes. 7 of 9. Rex Grossman, 98 yards passing.
But they came off the goal line with a couple of nice running plays prior to that 7 of 9.
Petrovich will kick away. Armstead and Collins await. Good kick. No return. And so 13 seconds still on the game clock, and Ole Miss will start this drive at the 20-yard line.
Little adjusting coming on here at halftime. I think for Ole Miss's defense, they're going to have to figure out a way to get to Grossman a little bit quicker. You know, they dropped 8. They've rushed 8. I mean, they've done everything different. Now they'll figure out what they feel like they can do the best that gives them the best shot to try to slow down Grossman. And for Manning and company, I just think they need to stop making mistakes on first down.
Manning takes a knee. A few boos here in Oxford. 14-2 as both teams will head to the locker room. By the way, Craig, Rex Grossman in this first half of 11 of 24, 150 yards, a pair of touchdowns, both to Perez, and an interception. Eli Manning, 12 of 18. He found rhythm late in the second quarter and finishes out the first half with 102 yards passing.
Yeah, I think the first quarter, both teams really struggled to be consistent with their passing game. Manning was wild, Grossman was wild, but then they kind of brought it together and settled down.
Let's go downstairs, and Andre Ware. Andre?
Guys, I got Coach Zook here. Coach, you seem to have a pretty good handle on this one in the second quarter. What do you got to do to put it away?
We got to keep playing. You know, I think we're starting to get going now, and our offense started off a little bit slow, but they're starting to get going now. Defensively, except for the one drive, played extremely well, and they had as much to do with that 2 points as anything. They let them get down there, and then we can't take a safety like that, but the offense just came back and answered. They've done that all year. We come back 99 yards to score, and that's what we got to come out and do in the third quarter.
Rex seemed to be okay on the last drive. What's his status?
He's fine. He's got an ouchie on his hand. He's fine.
Okay. Thanks, Coach. Back upstairs to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Andre. That ends the first half of play with Florida leading 14-2. Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman. Hey, they're next with the Gateway Halftime Report.
All right, Craig, coming up on the Gateway Halftime Report, Spencer and I will have all of today's scores and highlights, including the Cowboys are roping the horns in Austin, right after this word from your local station. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gateway Halftime Report. I'm Tim Brando with the score in Oxford. Florida leading Ole Miss 14-2. Spencer Tillman joins me right now, and I got to tell you, Manning was 10 of his last 10. They got to the 1-yard line, tried 4 running plays, got nothing out of it, managed a safety, but they're not far from being in this game.
Yeah, I tell you what, Tim, John Latina did a poor job on that 4th and 1. They had a chance to score, but they didn't punch it in. They didn't roll Eli Manning outside the pocket. The guy's mobile enough to make something happen. The defense, meantime, they answered the clarion call of David Cutcliffe. They had the 1 pick, the young freshman did, then they came right back with the pressure that led to the safety. So defensively, last touchdown withstanding, the young defense doing a job.
All right, let's get you caught up now on...
Moments away from the start of the 3rd quarter here in Oxford, Florida, 6th ranked in the country, leads Ole Miss 14-2. Craig Bullerjack back along with Craig James. You saw at the end of that half, Carlos Perez, Rex Grossman hook up, big touchdown just seconds before halftime, 14-2. Eli Manning began to find some rhythm just before halftime as well. What's Ole Miss have to do with this home crowd behind them to get back in?
Ole Miss is going to have to understand they're going to have to stop the running game. Florida's going to run the football at them, no question about that. Number 2, when Manning has the ball, their offense has to remain consistent. They're going to have to make the catches. They're going to have to stretch the defense. They're going to have to move the pocket. And if they do those things, they can be successful.
Ole Miss will kick, and the Gators back to receive. 14-2. Carthon and Kite back for the Gators. Lee Rogers will kick away from the 35-yard line. 2nd half underway. And from the 1-yard line, Carthon tackled at the 19. So Grossman, who injured that left wrist late in the 2nd quarter, will take over, had 150 yards and a pair of touchdowns, was picked off in that 1st quarter. And Craig James, 1st half numbers.
And I think the number 1 thing that you look at in this whole situation here, time of possession's about even, but it's not on there. It's red zone opportunities. Florida was 2 of 3. Ole Miss was 0 for 1, you know, and if Ole Miss converts when they get 1st and goal from the 2, we're talking about a different game here.
Yeah, Ole Miss was stopped inside the 2-yard line 4 straight plays. Also, Collins had a touchdown off his fingertips around inside the 10-yard line that Manning would like to have back.
Yeah, he threw it a little bit too far.
Today's attendance, 61,140, breaks a previous stadium record of 58,151 that was set earlier against Louisiana Monroe this season. Good pursuit by the guys in red, and they'll mark him down around the 26-yard line. Graham, the ball carrier. Travis Johnson made the tackle. So Travis Johnson, who started this game and then gave up his spot to Chris Knight, the senior, is back in to start this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, he got very lucky right there, trying to grab Ernest Graham and pull him down by the shoulder pads. He better get back to running and tackling through the legs on the outside, or Graham will turn the corner and be going 75.
They've got an injured Gator slow walking off the field. Shannon Snell, number 75. He's been a consistent starter for the Gators on that left side, along with Max Starks, making their 17th consecutive starts today. Mo Mitchell will come in. So 3rd down, Gators from the 26-yard line. Grossman, good protection, steps up, picked off inside the 20. Oh, he was read like a book. Lorenzo Townsend.
They want to start calling him Big Low. He ran that route better than Florida ran the route. Look at Townsend squatting over here, 44 inside, comes right back into the ball. That's the first mistake that Carlos Perez, 23, has made in this game. He didn't go back to the ball. Townsend went to it. And Big Low may want to put him in the backfield. I like the way he moves.
You know what? They've got 2 44s on their depth chart. One is Townsend. The other one's Matt Greer.
Well, you know what? Greer, Townsend, it doesn't matter. 44 made a nice play.
Well, that's a big break to start this third quarter. Manning runs out of the pocket, fires and connects, and a completion to Bill Flowers.
I like it. I like that play, my man. Bowler, if they'll do that, they got a chance. Roll it.
They're moving. You said we talked at halftime. It was the matter of just loosening things up a little bit. Little pitch and catch. Manning's mobile. Move him out of that pocket.
And how about it? It's 2nd down and 5 as compared to, it's been 1st and 15 so many times.
3 wide out set. Manning under center I formation. 2nd down from the 14-yard line. Oh, nice move, Lou. Giddy up inside the 5-yard line. Pearson, Vajon Pearson, the redshirt freshman from Ripley, Mississippi.
They've been talking about the backs running with their eyes. Look here, to see the movement there? There's the lane over here. He didn't just run up the middle. He used his eyes. His feet got him to the hole, and that's what they did not do in the first half.
1st and goal inside the 5-yard line after the interception thrown by Grossman. Touchdown, Ole Miss. Pearson. His 3rd rushing touchdown of the season, officially a 4-yard scamper. And oh, how the mo has changed here at Ole Miss.
I like the way you see again with his eyes. His eyes. There's a little push up the middle. We've seen that before down here. Ole Miss, the last time they got in the red zone down there, they couldn't push him off the line of scrimmage.
Ole Miss will go for 2.
My guess is here they'll roll it. Roll the wide side. They've asked for the left hash to set up. They'll roll the right.
4 wide receivers.
Right there.
Manning pedals back straight. Wants to throw. Finds his man. Complete. 2 points. Put it on the board. Armstead came across underneath. 2 yards deep in the end zone, and all of a sudden this crowd is alive early in this second half. 14-10. Florida Gators still with the lead, but Ole Miss making a move. Today.
There's Mr. Manning right there, Archie. Listening to how his son's doing, watching it. Pretty fired up after that opening series.
From the 2, Carthon has a seam. Works outside to the 25-yard line. Mark him out at the 26. Interesting performance by Grossman today. A couple of great throws. Perez on the end of 2 touchdown throws, but yet he's also thrown 2 picks, and that one led to an Ole Miss touchdown.
But like I said, I thought Carlos Perez, he didn't go back to the ball. Matt Greer did. He was working the ball. Greer was there. He saw it. He read it. He squatted on the play, went back to it, and Perez didn't.
Greer with his 2nd interception of the season. And then the touchdown, 4 yards officially for Pearson. 14-10, 12.5 minutes left, 3rd quarter. Pressure, Grossman steps and fires. Tough throw, far sideline. Not much. Kelvin Kite made the grab. He took a shot in the numbers by Eric Oliver, the free safety.
Knocked out of bounds by number 26 for the Rebels, Eric Oliver.
Well, the Gators, Craig, have all sorts of wideouts to go to. Jacobs, Jackson, Perez, Kite, Brown.
The backs.
Yeah. Oh, man. Graham, Carthon. They also have a couple of tight ends that can catch the football, too, and Walker and Troop. Graham stops, stutters, and then restarts at the 33. Pull down. He'll pick up 5. That brings up 3rd down. Let's go back to New York for a college football today update. Here's Tim Brando. Tim.
All right, fellas. Much like Florida's Rex Grossman just before halftime, Chris Sims hooks up with B.J. Johnson, does most of this on his own, and it's 10-3 Texas over Oklahoma State.
Here it's 14-10. Boy, How about that defensive play by Ole Miss? Eric Oliver, he was sniffing. He stayed home, and a big play by Ole Miss. And this crowd that we heard boos from, Craig, as the second quarter ended, now on their feet.
Yeah, Matt Greer, they're coming that series. The Ole Miss defense really, they brought pressure from the corners, both sides, pressure from the corners, and the safeties are coming up strong in their support. And they're lucky, you talk about sniffing, they're lucky Oliver didn't sniff that ball out and catch it and go the other way.
Ingle Martin, the backup quarterback to Rex Grossman, boots it away. Takes a big hop out of bounds at the 26-yard line. 45-yard boot. Ole Miss will have it when we come back.
Most from your PC. Gateway, a better way.
The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Miller High Life, DuPont, Gateway, and by Pontiac.
Welcome back to Oxford. 11:07 left third quarter. 14-10 Florida, 6th ranked in the country. Ole Miss has the football. Eli Manning in control. Again, the 4 wide receiver set will start this drive from the 26.5-yard line. Low snap. Manning pumps. Pressure from behind. Little pitch and catch. Incomplete at the 36-yard line. Well, Monday on CBS, have you seen the #1 new comedy of the season? It's Still Standing, to show the dares to show the truth about the hood. That's Parenthood. Don't miss Still Standing Monday night, right after Raymond, here on CBS, America's most watched network. Slow start by Manning. Found some rhythm in the second quarter. Only down 4 and a lot of time. 11 minutes left third quarter. Steps up, nice lob over the middle, caught at the 41-yard line. Boy, another nice touch pass, Chris Collins. He just kind of floated and hung there for it, didn't he?
First snap of that series here, they went with 4 rushers, dropped 7. That time they brought 5, 1 off the corner to the wide side, the right side of the field. So he's got the single coverage over here on the right side. You see that in the middle of the field? He had nobody helping him there because that help that would have been there normally had went in hard on a pass rush.
15-yard gain, first down, Ole Miss at the 41-yard line. Again from the shotgun. The quick throw to Collins. Collins, a 6'2", 190-pound junior. Having a pretty active afternoon.
Kind of interesting that they had a lot of success on that last series when they scored the touchdown. But Sean Pearson with his running, they have not run the ball here. Using the little quick passes to the outside, which is putting questions and doubt in that Florida Gator defense. You know, they're expecting a little bit of run.
But they also doubt who's going to catch the ball. Man, he's sharing the wealth. 9 different receivers on the year. 15 different players have caught the football from Eli. He's in trouble. This time the strength of Eli Manning. He cannot escape the grasp of the Gators, led by big number 60, Savalio.
I think he'll go back and he'll be mad that he didn't get rid of this football because he had a 3 or 4 yard little dump hook and he waited for a bigger play. So not being disciplined about what the defense gave him cost him a sack right there.
Third down. They call it 21. The draw. Stiff arm, nice move. But McClendon, hard running, but only got 3 yards. That's going to bring up a punting situation. You know, some of the fans booing a little bit, but, you know, that's long yardage. You hope maybe you get the Gators dropping back in deep coverage and throw the draw in.
And the way, as well as he's punted today, you know, you got a good chance of getting about a net 45-yard kick out of this thing and reload with your defense.
Ridgway back at his 20. Ratliff awaits at the 21. Pedaling back, Ratliff at the 10. Look at that coverage. Oh, terrific. That's textbook. The hang time and the downfield coverage. 56-yard kick and a 7-yard return. The third.
Well, that state of Iowa is going nuts for football now. Between them and Iowa State.
They're heating up.
My good
pick off. It's Greer again. Touchdown, Ole Miss. Hey, Timmy B. How about a new top performance right here in Oxford? 24-yard return. Touchdown, Ole Miss. Jonathan Nichols will try the extra point. Kick is away and good. Ole Miss down at 1 point, 14-2. Has roared back to take a 17-14 lead over 6th-ranked Florida. Greer going airborne in Oxford. Boy, definition of energy. Boy, it's right here. It is right here. Greer with the pick, his second of the day. Grossman.
Okay, now here's what's going on here. This Ole Miss defense has figured out exactly what's going on. The play before the interception, they walked to the line of scrimmage, and Ole Miss's defense recognized it. They knew what was going on. The next play, he throws to the flat. Greer out here squats again on the play. There's definitely some coaching that has taken place where Ole Miss's defense now understands what Florida and Grossman are trying to accomplish.
24-yard return. Greer takes it in at 17-14. Carthon and Kite await the kick from Lee Rogers. Carthon from the 2. Heads to the far sideline, breaks the tackle at the 30, stood on his feet and ran out of bounds at the 41-yard line. And it was the speed of the wideout, Chris Collins, who plays special teams, able to catch up with Carthon. 38-yard return. Well, today's Home Depot Scholar Athlete, Craig, is Ben Claxton of Ole Miss. Ben is a history major, has a 3.15 GPA. Home Depot's commitment to the investment of our future is shown today by donating $1,000 to the Ole Miss Scholarship Fund. Claxton also nominated for a postgraduate scholarship with the National Football League Foundation. Does well on the field and in the class. And Ole Miss defense, man, they are fired up nothing at the 41. And guess who led the way? Big 44, Matt Greer.
Well, if there's a scholar athlete of the game, there's definitely a player of the game, and I'd say Greer is on track for that one. But the Ole Miss defense really feels like they know what's going on right now. They've got a grasp for what that Gator offense is doing.
A gain of 1, second down and 9. Clock under 7 minutes left in this third quarter. Ole Miss up by 3, 17-14, and again, it's almost like they're reading the playbook, Greg.
Well, he is for sure.
Oh, Matt Greer again, just punching through.
Two series ago, Greer and company on Ole Miss started pinching from the outside with the corners, and that's what's happening here again. They're coming from the outside. They're making a lot of pressure. When Graham bounces, they're there to make the plays. There's no penetration at all by the Gators' offensive line. They're not pushing them off the ball.
Grossman needs a play to quiet this crowd. 4 wide receivers, 3rd down and 11. Call it 12. He's changing things up. Hard to hear under 6 minutes. Blitz. Took a hard hit. Flags are down. And he had to throw that ball before Kite could even turn around. Play clock ran dry.
I bet it did.
Delay the game. Money offense.
Good eyes, Craig James. Let's go downstairs. Here's Andre Ware.
Guys, you talk about the Heisman campaign for Rex Grossman. Maybe you throw in Mac Grisney. 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. He's injected some emotion into this sideline as well as the stadium. It is awesome down here. Back up to you guys.
He's always going to talk about the Heisman.
Yeah, I know.
Mr. Heisman.
We've talked to him about it. I'll tell you, they're taking Heisman votes right now. I think Greer would probably win it, at least in Oxford. Grossman under pressure again. Throws a high fly. It's a high hanger. Had it, dropped it. Jacobs, who's so sure-handed, almost spiked that ball. Exactly what happened. Had the ball. Somehow came out, spiked it down incomplete, in a punting situation for the Gators.
You know what? This is one of those plays. It kind of says to yourself, if you're an Ole Miss fan, oh boy, things are going our way. When Taylor Jacobs makes an adjustment and drops a ball like that, things are going the Rebels' way.
Boy, and again, on this drive, it's the pressure that Ole Miss was bringing on Rex Grossman. That ball did hang up there. Armstead heads to the far sideline and is pushed out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Well, for just a moment, this crowd thought he was going to break one. 36-yard punt. 23-yard return.
So what's that net? 13?
13.
That's what I'm talking about, because it was a low P4K punt. You know, this is a Florida Gator team that struggled going into the game with special teams, and that right there hurts them. Craig, you could just see, obviously, the momentum clearly with the Rebels, but the Florida defense on the field, and for a couple of series now, really haven't had a grasp of what was going on.
Big stand defensively for the Florida Gators. Ole Miss in terrific field position to start this drive at the 46. Manning over the middle, caught and dropped, and that's a touchdown. Freifogel, the sophomore. Sometimes, Craig, it's just too easy.
You know what? Look, see up here at the front. Now, there are 4 of them that are coming. 4 come, 7 drop. There's a big void in the middle of the football field. The linebacker tried to get over there. 42 Bam Hartman tried to move over, but there's just a big void in the middle of the field. The 4 guys on the Florida defensive line, there's 3, and these linebackers, they're playing games. They're trying to figure out some combination of rush and drop.
2nd down and 10. 2 wide outs to the near side. Manning dumps underneath in a sliding catch. This time won't get away from Freifogel. Let's go back to New York. Tim Brando with an update on Oklahoma State, Texas. Tim.
Just as the Cowboys, Craig, had gotten an interception from Lawrence Pinson, Texas, Derek Johnson picks this one off of Greg Jones on the halfback option. So Texas clinging precariously to a 7-point lead in the 3rd quarter in a battle of turnovers in the Big 12.
This is one of those look-ahead games for OU and Texas. Next week, they square off in that Red River shootout for the Big 12 bragging rights.
On the rollout is Manning. 3rd down. Rolls back the other way. Pressured. Looking. Throws. Incomplete. That stops the clock with 4:33 left in the 3rd quarter.
A good no play.
Yeah.
You know, and watching that particular play there, Ole Miss had at tight end, Bo Hartsfield, and he had the one-on-one matchup up the middle that Doug Ziegler probably took advantage of. Speed wasn't there. You know, he's covered up.
Ziegler, by the way, out for the season, broke his leg against Vanderbilt. Ratliff awaits the punt.
He just can't control his leg.
No, he can't. I see, that is one strong leg.
It's like 60 yards. I don't care what's going on. I'm kicking it 60.
39-yard. He tried to pooch it, and it still landed 2 rows deep in the stands after taking a bounce out of the end zone. Well, Craig, tonight on CBS, it all begins with Touched by an Angel, followed by Craig T. Nelson in the district. Then go inside the secret world of the CIA on the agency. It's all here tonight on CBS, America's most watched network.
Touched by an Angel. I believe the Gators have been touched by Greer.
That's a new show. Sitcom or drama?
Dramatic.
17-14. Ole Miss with the lead. Grossman again under pressure, throws it away. To the last 2 series, Rex Grossman has spent most of his time looking face down at the green turf here.
He's like a farmer. His face mask is plowing dirt. They're pinching off the corners. I'm telling you, Ole Miss has got the ears pinned back, and it's come sick'em time. Jermaine Landrum that time had a little bit of fun with him.
He's been hurried 11 times, knocked down 5. This quarter, 2 of 6, minus 2 yards passing with 2 picks. Compliments of Greer. Play fake. Steps and throws. Reaching out. Both officials look at one another. I thought one thought maybe. The other one waved him off and said no. Taylor Jacobs with a great effort, but incomplete.
You know, and they're both, one guy is responsible for making sure he had possession of the ball, and the other guy is responsible for making sure that he at least gets a foot down in bounds. He goes out, you know, that's one of those close ones right there. You know, if it's on the Florida Gators bench, he probably gets the reception. Over on the Ole Miss side, they didn't want to take a little heat.
Third down and 10. And a timeout called by Ron Zook. .4:10 left in this third quarter in Oxford. And we'll step aside. Ole Miss up by 3. Hey, let's take a look at an SEC Sonic moment. The last time these two teams met on CBS, the 58 Gator Bowl, when the Rebels, led by Jim Anderson's 1-yard touchdown run, claimed the 7-3 victory. By the way, Ole Miss Chancellor Robert Kayat kicked the extra point. Kayat led the nation of kickers in scoring 2 times. Now, as Chancellor, he's raised over $500 million for Ole Miss, and he's on hand watching today.
His brother, Eddie Kayat, was one of the coaches in New England when I played there, and so I heard all about Ole Miss football.
After the timeout, Grossman from the shotgun. Dancing, looking, throws through the hands, incomplete at the 30-yard line, and it was Kelvin Kite. 4th down for the Florida Gators.
Grossman just continues to move his feet. He's trying to buy time. He's trying to get, he's not comfortable. There he is. Make the plant. Let go. No, see his feet. He's waiting. He's moving. He's retreating more. He's giving up that ground. Oh, man, what a kick.
Well, we've seen some great punts.
Oh, my goodness.
At the 9-yard line, Armstead chases it down. And taken down at the 19. Well, what a boot. How about that?
70 yards. That was a perfect, like it came out of one of those judge machines.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect spiral.
9-yard return, so a net of 63. Pardon me, 61.
Where'd you get that math? Huh?
When I said that, I thought, boy, you're going to get me on my math.
That's like last night. I paid for dinner and you get the tip, man. You shortchanged the girl. She was sweet to us.
But you know what she was? But you helped me out. Said, no. Why don't you go ahead and give her another $1?
Yeah. Oh. Couple of generous guys, huh?
We are.
Give it up, Buck.
Ole Miss, can they keep with momentum? They start this drive of the 19, and the Gators rise up and say, hey, we're still in this game with 3:42 on the clock running, third quarter. Mike Nattiel, a senior from Archer, Florida, 3-year letterman, making the tackle. Second down, 2 wideouts near side, I formation. 5 on the play clock, 3 down to 2. They get the snap away. Pearson struggles for a couple to the 22-yard line.
You know, the Boo Birds are out right now, but what they're feeling right now is Ole Miss doesn't want to make a mistake at the 20-yard line. You know, they don't want to have a chance of throwing the ball and giving the momentum back to Florida. But you're not going to beat Florida if you go in a shell, because they're going to score.
They showed that before half. Marching it down 98 yards. Shotgun for Manning, third down. Pressure, steps, dumps it off, flags are down. Hold on, a flag, but it was caught by Rosano, the fullback. Cromartie made the tackle, but a flag at the 21. It's going to be against Ole Miss. We'll hear the call. You know, Rosano.
Personal foul by the offense during the play. 15-yard or half the distance. And repeat, third down.
Half the distance. Rosano making the catch. And how about, let's take you back to September 21st. This was prior to the Ole Miss game against Vanderbilt, Craig. And here's Rosano. This is kind of a bold move. Watch him, because he's going to slip out of the line as they make that walk through the Grove. He proposes to his girlfriend, Leah Henley. And we're just happy to say that, yeah, Leah did accept, but no wedding date has been set. He did say maybe May.
Yeah, they wouldn't have given us the tape if she'd have said no.
Good point. Gators wrap him up. Pearson dropped to the 5, and the boos continue. Scott, the defensive tackle, wraps up Pearson.
Footnote to this ball game: if it turns around in Florida's favor, that defensive effort right there,
big.
and the conservative nature of the Ole Miss offense is a big story in this game.
Great point. It was started by the 70-yard punt.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yes.
That pushed Ole Miss in tough field position, and now they're back in their own end zone to try to punt this ball away. Florida's going to get good field position. High hanger, lost it in the sun, and it's going to get an Ole Miss bounce to the 45. Ooh, flag. Late flag thrown at the 31. 48-yard kick.
I bet it's a personal foul against Florida. He came over and decleated somebody way backside out of the play. I think it was Ridgway got blown up after the punt going down the field.
You're right, personal foul, Gators.
Can we add to the footnotes of dumb plays right there?
Noted.
We are at Hemingway Stadium, right?
Yes.
Personal foul by the receiving team. The foul occurred after the kick and before the end of the kick. Therefore, the penalty is administered from the end of the kick, 15 yards and first down.
Bobby McCray. There's Ridgway running down the field, 97. Just had to get him some. You know? We got him a little bit of that. So that what's the net effect of that punt now? That's a 40 and 20. That's 60-yard net change right there of field position. 60 yards.
See, those are the two plays. When you have the 70-yard boot, you push Ole Miss so deep, they have to kick from their end zone, and then just an absolute no-need penalty pushes you back and starts this drive at the 30-yard line. Grossman rolling, throwing. He's on. Incomplete. You know, since he got hit and hurt that wrist, seems like, you know, you keep mentioning footwork, but yet his throws seem very a little too strong.
Yeah, you know, these interceptions down here, that's really hurt them. But the numbers of plays, look at this, you know, 3-3, 2, 3-3. That means that offense isn't staying on the field, and the defense at Ole Miss is staying fresh.
Second down from the 30. 1:09 left, third quarter. Rebels showing blitz. They back out. A delayed draw, not much, maybe 3 yards to the 34. Carthon, the ball carrier.
For Grossman, I think they need to kind of do what they did for Ole Miss with Manning. Get him some confidence back. He's been hit a whole lot. Go ahead and somehow run some shorter passes. Let him have some confidence and some success, because right now all he's thinking about is getting hit.
Take Craig, those second half numbers are not Heisman-like at all. Again, pressure from the corners. Grossman rolls out, has man coverage. That ball incomplete. Looking for Taylor Jacobs, but Travis Johnson, who again making his first Division I start, a redshirt freshman, pretty good coverage. This quarter, Rex Grossman 2 of 10, -2 yards, and the 2 interceptions by Greer. 1 ran back for a touchdown.
And how many times do you watch Rex Grossman where he just throws a football? I mean, right now he's just getting rid of it. You know, he's trying to save himself one.
Ingle Martin will punt. At the 12-yard line is Armstead. Takes a seat at the 19. Boy, officially 55 yards on the punt. Unbelievable. Good game here in Oxford. Stay tuned here on CBS. Doubleheader day in the SEC. Georgia and Alabama. Vern Lundquist, Todd Blackledge, Jill Arrington will have that game for you next here on CBS. For more, go to CBSSportsLine.com. America Online. Simply enter keyword CBS Sportsline.
Another good day of football in the SEC.
Oh, yeah. You know, there's rarely a day there isn't a good day of football in the SEC.
Yeah, this is good stuff. They're going to have to throw the ball. They cannot be conservative again like they did the last series.
Manning under center from the eye. Play action. He wants to roll. Pressure. Steps away. The big fella says, move for me. He throws sideline, incomplete. 7 seconds left in the third quarter. You know, we talked to a lot of players, Craig, at practice yesterday, and you know, you hear the echoes, you hear the same sentiments about this young man, Eli Manning. You know, we say, does he ever get rattled? Absolutely not. He is as cool as they come. He's like a computer. In fact, the offensive line says, hey, the best protection is actually Eli Manning himself. He's so quick on the reads.
Deceptive in the pocket, too. You know, good missability. Is that a word?
It is now. Out of the backfield, it's caught around the knees. And a nice grab by Rosano, the fullback. Westbrook brought him down, and that's going to end quarter number 3. 17-14, Ole Miss over number 6 Florida. Will return to Vaught Hemingway Stadium right after this message and a word from your local station. "15 minutes of football left here in Oxford. Ole Miss looking for the upset, 17-14 over 6th-ranked Florida Gators. It's 3rd down and 4. Manning Pettis back, fires. Oh, what a grab at the 40-yard line. Armstead reached up. What, fly paper on those hands? Incredible catch.
Just stick them somewhere out there. That was like sucked into his hands. Trips to the left. They spread out that Gators defense. He comes back to the inside of the ball. That's catching the very backside of the football.
You know, David Cutcliffe told us, the head coach of Ole Miss, if this game is won by his club, I said, what's the first thing that's going to happen? He goes, you know what? We're going to have to buy 2 new goalposts.
I don't think they would mind having to fork over the dollars for that, do you?
First down at the 40-yard line. Manning feels pressure, dumps it underneath, and it's incomplete. Pearson was the intended receiver.
You know, you talk about Cutcliffe and his expectations if they should win, right? These goalposts, they're 21-3 under Cutcliffe here at Ole Miss when leading after 3 quarters, including 3-0 this season. So, you know, that means to me that the team knows how to finish it. The coaching staff knows how to finish it. The team is together, and they're at home.
Second down from the 40. 17-14, Ole Miss. Gators bring pressure. Watch out. Manning. Incomplete. His arm was in motion, and he took a shot. Never saw Clint Mitchell. Absolutely teed it up and laid out Eli Manning.
This cat-mouse game between Zook and them is really interesting right now. Manning trying to make calls and plays indifferent, but it's all at the front. Look at the stunt. Look at the crossing that goes on. They cross the middle. They come to from the outside, and it's a timing deal. That internal clock, you've got to get rid of the football. And that clock picks up a little greater and quicker against Florida.
That brings up third down. Manning steps and fires, nearly intercepted at the 48. He had his eyes fixed on Chris Collins. Ratliff nearly had an interception, and Ratliff seems to still be down.
Well, that'd be a big loss. That's a heck of a football player, Ratliff. And I thought that last pass was Eli Manning's kidneys talking to him. You know, screaming, "They're coming!
Help!
Get rid of it!"
Say, Ratliff, you mentioned good player. Well, he got his cleats caught up in that turf.
Or is it his shoulder?
Yeah.
Left shoulder.
Interesting. Ratliff had that 62-yard pick against Kentucky. Took Jared Lorenzen to the bank. 62-yarder for a touchdown against Kentucky. He's up.
It's not as physical a game today as much as it is a cat and mouse game. You know what? Of mix-ups on the defensive pass rush. You know, the linemen trying to pick it up. Now, Grossman and Manning have been hit a lot. They differ. They tell me I'm crazy. It has been pretty physical on their body.
Ridgeway to punt. He's averaged 42.5 yards a boot. His longest of 56. This one came off the side of his foot. And out of bounds is the call at the 26. Call at the 27-yard line. Only 24 yards on that boot. And a timeout. 14:04 left in Oxford. Fourth quarter. Ole Miss by 3.
And the third little pig's house was made of brick.
Just like ours?
Yeah, just like ours. Only the floors were a lot nicer, with Berber in the living room and ceramic tile in the kitchen.
Great. It's autumn inspiration at the Home Depot. With no payments and no interest on flooring purchases till January 2004 with your Home Depot credit card. Plus, buy carpet and installation, get the carpet pad free. Only at the Home Depot and Expo Design Center.
Dude, I haven't seen him. He was supposed to be here an hour ago.
Can anyone here play the bass?
Oh. Is there a bass player in the house?
Jack Daniel's Original Hard Cola, a premium malt beverage as unique as the people who drink it. Come as you are.
The climb to the top is never easy. To make it, you need the biggest ATV Honda has ever built. 650 cc's. Fully independent rear suspension. Sport-tuned automatic. The Rincon from Honda. To get here, you've got to be the best on earth. When Robbery Homicide investigates the murder of an actress...
No signs of struggle at the door.
The case takes a bizarre turn.
It's not a crime.
Don't miss Robbery Homicide Division, CBS Friday.
Welcome back. Ole Miss leads Florida by 3. Sunday after 60 minutes, it's 60 Minutes of Comedy. First, Nancy Travis joins Ted Danson on the season premiere of Becker. Then don't miss the premiere of a brand new series from the producers of Frasier, Bram and Alice. It's all here, CBS Sunday after 60 Minutes on CBS.
Andre Ware told us that Ratliff's left shoulder strained and should return. Dr. Ware.
Dr. Ware. Pitch in round. Grossman tried to throw a block, and a good read by Ole Miss's D. Well, they gave a little bit, but they didn't give up the big play. Vernell Brown on the in round. He's a former corner who turned wide out in the spring. Got good speed.
Well, Travis Blanchard, I'm telling you, this guy makes one heck of a football play. Look at him peel back to the outside. He's got a big lineman on top of him. He peels back to the inside and saves a huge play.
Well, Grossman had the football, was ready to throw, but the Gators called timeout. I looked over there and I think Kelvin Kite had his hands up calling for a timeout. .26 left in the fourth quarter. We'll come back to Oxford with Ole Miss leading by
3. Because you're not just invested, you're personally invested.
All right, my man, what do you need? We're gonna you gonna peel out that touchdown? All right, welcome back. Scoring recap brought to you by Fidelity Investment. First quarter, Perez, 16-yard touchdown. Second quarter, Perez, 18-yard touchdown. Greer with that 24-yard interception in the third quarter. And here's the play of the game. Grossman pedaling back, and then there he is, 44, his second interception of the day, and this time he goes airborne up and in. Touchdown, Ole Miss, and that has really turned the tide. Ernest Graham, the ball carrier, 17-14 Ole Miss.
That's one of those confidence builder passes again that I was mentioning a couple series ago, to try to get Grossman's mind back on the game as opposed to getting hit.
Florida. From the 41.
3 wide receivers set to the near side. Now Graham switches sides. Graham, the ball carrier, breaks the tackle, still on his feet, and bumped out of bounds right at midfield. Travis Johnson. Let's go back. Tim Brando to New York for a College Football Today update.
All right, on that Red River rivalry look ahead for Texas that Craig James was talking about a bit earlier. Look at Tatum Belgo. After a Chris Sims touchdown, the extra point was blocked, so it's 17-9 Longhorns over the Cowboys. Back to Craig and Craig.
All right, thank you, Timmy B. Ole Miss, that defense has really played some football in this second half.
How about Oliver? These guys stepping up. I think the safeties at Ole Miss and the corners, they made adjustments during the open week. They moved it around, and it's worked. They did a heck of a job. The coach did his job.
Chuck Dreisbach.
Yes.
First year as a D coordinator here at Ole Miss, looking on. Florida 4 of 13 on third downs. How about this half, though, Craig? 0 for 5 in this half. Third down and short. No. Carthon tried to lean.
May have even lost a little yardage. There's some kind of discussion going on over there, but I don't think there's anything to be made. It's too much of a gamble to go for it. You got to punt the football and let your defense hold them and play field position now.
The way the punting game has been today, I mean, probably part of that philosophy is to try to pin them back. Both kickers have had some pretty good luck with the foot. Ingle Martin.
And Ingle Martin being a backup quarterback, midfield.
What do you think? He's stepping up a little bit.
You never know.
Going to take a delay of game. Now they're going to run it down to give them a little bit more room.
Oh, yeah.
Delay of game.
I know what you were thinking.
Yeah, I mean.
5-yard penalty. Still fourth down.
When you're in midfield and you got a backup quarterback as your punter, do a few things. But you don't do it on the road.
So they take the 5-yard penalty. Little working room now for Martin. Kicks it. Little wobbly spiral. At the 15-yard line is Armstead. And that's where Ole Miss will take over. 41-yard boot. Heading down the home stretch in Oxford. Ole Miss and Florida battling. It's a 3-point game.
Nicorette Golf, Wrangler, and by Guinness.
Back in Oxford, 11-11 left. 11 minutes, 11 seconds, 17-14 Ole Miss. Eli Manning under center, 2 wideouts, top of your screen. Ole Miss, Craig trying to run a little clock. McClendon, the ball carrier. Too early.
It's okay to run it here as long as you go and play action. You know, and if you're Florida, your defensive line, they're the guys who have to win the game for them. They've got to create a fumble. They've got to get a little quicker to Eli Manning to create the turnover. You know, they've been close several times.
Flowers lines up to the near side. A pickup of 2, second down 8. Now Manning calls for a timeout.
You know, old Mo, momentum. He's standing in the middle of the field right now. He doesn't know which bench to go to.
So he'll burn a timeout. That'll give him 2 remaining in a very tight game with 10:38 left.
You know, we're sitting here, we're trying to figure out what should Ole Miss do, but I think it's Florida. The pressure's on Florida. They got to get the ball back. The defense has to help their offense. Their offense is struggling right now. Ole Miss's defense has the number on them. So field position, yes, this is critical for the Gators defense to step up and make a play. And for the Ole Miss offensive linemen, they got to know that they've been doing it all day. 3 and 4 guys have been up there trying to move around. They're trying to move them around, trying to confuse them.
Both coaches trying to, well, do what they do best. Coach John Thompson, Coach Zook, talking it over with the Gators. Right in the middle of your screen, handles the defense is John Thompson.
The success that Ole Miss has had is when they've gone trips 3 receivers to one side, and they've given Manning time to throw the ball, and he has connected. And that's what I would expect them to do right here. And they just got to make sure that on the Gators defense that they're passing off to the next zone and covering them up.
That is John Latina, the offensive coordinator for Ole Miss. This time 2 wideouts, top of your screen, from the eye. Second down 8. Not much. McClendon again, tackled by Mitchell, got him around the thigh pad and brought him right down. McClendon, a junior, 5'9", 185, more of a scat back type of runner. You know, they are without the services of Robert Williams today. They're starting running back who injured an ankle. So they've gone basically with Pearson and a few carries for McClendon. 3rd down and 7. There's the play action. Up and over the middle. Contact and no flags. Both trying to gain position on the football. Kerry Johnson, the intended receiver.
Ratliff back in the game. I understand what Ole Miss is saying here. They're saying, look, we don't want to make a mistake when we're down in deep in our end zone side of the field. But then again, they have to understand that Florida is the Florida Gators, and the chance of them not scoring again is not very big.
Vernell Brown back to receive the punt from Ridgeway. Low line drive, takes a big hop. Brown at the 27. Heads to the sideline, stops the clock at the 44-yard line. A lot of time here in Oxford. 9:41 left. Heading down the stretch. 6th-ranked Florida down by 3 on the road. Terrific afternoon for football in Oxford, Mississippi. Here's our CBS Sports Line stat of the game. Look at the numbers, Craig. First half, Rex Grossman, 11 of 23, 150, 2 touchdowns and a pick, 2 interceptions. Second half, only 3 of 11, 7 yards. Get complete game stats at cbssportsline.com or on America Online. Enter the keyword CBS Sports Line. Trips to the top of your screen. Grossman wants the long ball. Pressure. He took a shot. They dropped him hard around the 39-yard line. Incomplete. That stops the clock with 9:33, and it was Carlos Perez, the intended receiver.
And that's not on the offensive line. I'm telling you, he just kept holding and holding and waiting and waiting. Only a 4-man rush, and he finally spent enough time that somebody came clean and smacked him in the mouth. But Rex Grossman, it's going to be a very sore morning for him tomorrow.
Again, 3 wide receiver set to the far side of the field. Second down, 44-yard line. Grossman again guns it in traffic. And a big catch keeps the Gators moving at the 41 of Ole Miss. Taylor Jacobs a bit quiet today, making the reception of 14 yards.
So is this crowd quiet right now. This crowd's quiet. Now, Ole Miss's defense came out early in the second half, and they were really aggressive off the corners. Remember how strong they were? Now they're going with a 4-man rush, and they're dropping 7. They've become a lot more conservative.
Look at this set. They loaded up heavy. 4 wideouts to the near side. 5 wideout receiver. Grossman the lone back. They're going to pitch it out to Graham. He throws it back the other way. It's trickery. Grossman on his horse at the 10-yard line, but a flag is down at the 44.
Bound to be a lineman downfield on that.
That's an hour-and-a-half play. Oh, that one takes a long time to develop. Everybody's got to be patient and stay home, and it's coming back.
If I'm not, that's a ball play, isn't it? I believe the ball play is still around here.
And now for receiver downfield on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Yeah, you can't coordinate all these guys. Somebody illegal on this side, they're going to get down the field. It's a nice job of the lateral pass, backside, illegal man down the field. It's probably this guy right here.
Yep.
Yeah, he's down the line. He's down the field.
Half a yard.
The big hog, he tried to get a running start.
10th penalty against Florida for 81 yards. Mississippi, Ole Miss has been hit with 8 for 71. First and 15, ball hits the deck.
So does Grossman.
I don't know if it's the wrist, but he's had trouble with that handle. That's the second time he's put it down on the turf.
Yeah, he'd have a rough day if he was playing shortstop because the ball down low has been hard. But I mean, Grossman is a beat-up human being right now. And the pressure's been on him. This Ole Miss defense has found number 8 today.
Second down, 15. Crowd is back in it. 3 wideouts near side. Grossman hangs in there, steps, and a nice throw and a reception. No, out of bounds is the call. I thought he dragged the toe. Jacobs out of bounds.
He tried to pitter-pat it. What's the word? Well, you know.
No possession?
Yeah, I think he chopped both feet, but they came down. He didn't drag. See, whatever that's called, tip-tap.
Tippy-toe?
Tippy-toe, like tapping Timmy Brando. Toe-tapping Timmy.
That's a scary thought, isn't it? To see Brando.
I've seen it before. It was scary.
Boy, this crowd is up and alive. Third down and 15. 8 minutes, 9 seconds left. Grossman steps up, fires a bullet, complete. At the 28-yard line, Jacobs comes right back and makes the reception. Travis Johnson made the tackle for Ole Miss. 19-yard pickup.
You talk about bold, you talk about guts, you talk about courage. Grossman hung in the pocket. Ole Miss changed it up. They brought a little blitz off the bottom side over here. They come in here. They put the pressure on him. He hangs in there, lets the play develop, gets hit, throws the rocket.
Under 8 minutes remaining, fourth quarter. Tight. Switches directions. Breaks another tackle, still on his feet. And pushing forward, they'll put him down at the 28-yard line. Clock runs.
How important and how big was that 2-point conversion after that first Ole Miss touchdown, huh?
You know, at the time, you kind of said, all right, we'll get you, instead of 9, it's 10. You still had to score twice to take the lead, but it looms large right now. Great point. Second down and 10. Grossman throws out of the backfield. Carthon to the 26-yard line.
You know, there's one way that you can beat Florida, and only one way, and that is to give great effort. I mean, tremendous effort. That time, number 77, Jamie Mitchell. Watch 77 right here. Watch him get to the ball. This is a big man chasing somebody in the flat. That's the only way you have a chance to upset the number 6 team in the country.
You know, he peeled right off of Cologne, the right tackle, and chased him down. You're right. Third down.
Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
Flags are down. Grossman sets up and throws. Caught along the far sideline. That's Burnell Brown. But a flag down at the 25-yard line.
They only had 6 guys on the line of scrimmage. That'd be an illegal formation.
Ron Zook.
The offense only had 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
Cutcliffe.
5-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
Well, they're both going at it today. You know, we had a good talk with Coach Zook, and then it was talking about after the Miami game.
Yeah, right here. There's your 6. 1, 2, 3. They're out here.
You know, said a lot of expectations against Miami. They lost that game big, 41-16, and all of a sudden they get it together. Grossman gets hot. They've won 3 in a row, but that's in jeopardy today to keep that streak alive. They're down 3. From behind, the ball batted up, and they're going to say incomplete. Ole Miss continues to bring heat. Wes Scott brought it this time.
Yeah, move them down. 17 off the corner. Scott. Again, what I told you a while ago was they stopped doing this. They had been coming off the corner. They got away from it. They were trying to use 4 guys inside. That was no bueno. No good. They had to go back.
All right. Going to go for it. 4th down and 12. A lot of time. 6:09 left in this quarter. They're down 3. Big defensive stand and a huge offensive call for the Florida Gators. Pressure. Eddie Strong. This stadium about to erupt with 6:04 left. Ole Miss will take it up by 3.
I do believe they just got excited here.
Watch out for those goalposts. 6:04 to go. Rex Grossman, tough day. Craig, he's been knocked down. He's been beaten up. And you know what? Something may be knocked down later this afternoon right here at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Those goalposts are sitting there. If Ole Miss can win, Coach Cutcliffe told us, you know what? He worries they may come down. Flag down. 6 minutes left, and the clock continues to run. Tremaine Turner, the ball carrier, and Lefebvre made the stop.
Cutcliffe obviously right now made a commitment and a decision in this quarter that he feels like his defense, as well as they're playing, will win the game. He's not going to give them a chance to win the game by a turnover on the Gator defense.
By the offense. Penalty decline. Second down.
And that's a bold leap of faith right there.
You know, he told us that he went through a lot of tape during the bye week. He made some changes at the corners. Gutty move. Travis Johnson, the redshirt freshman. Travis Blanchard went from free safety to corner, and then he got Eddie Strong back at the linebacker position, and you can just tell Strong's return has motivated Ole Miss.
It worked.
Barely got the play off. Manning in trouble, and down he goes at the 38. LeFevre.
Eli Manning dropped for loss on the play.
5:35, clock running, third down 15. It was a slow start for that man, Eli Manning, in the first quarter of play.
3rd and 15 for Ole Miss.
It was 14-2 at the half. And then Ole Miss's defense stepped up, pressure on Grossman. Craig James. Greer had a couple of picks and ran one in for a touchdown of 24 yards that now make it 17-14. Craig Bolerjack, Craig James, Andre Ware in Oxford, Mississippi. A dandy of a game. Nearly intercepted at midfield. Wow. Little sidearm throw by Manning. Chris Collins, the intended receiver. That brings up 4th down.
You know what? And here's what I'm talking about. If you're going to go ahead and throw the ball on 2nd and 3rd down, why not on 1st down? Roll them a bit. You've got to mix it up a little bit at Ole Miss. And for Florida's defense, they're doing everything they can to give their offense a chance here. Now, Ridgway's had some great punts, and he's had some average punts. This would be a time he needs a great punt.
Brown awaits the punt from Ridgway. High hanger, not deep, heading to the sideline, but takes a big Ole Miss bounce at the 15-yard line. Out of bounds at the 16. 46-yard kick and a 1-yard return. 17-14. Ole Miss with 4:47 remaining. And don't forget, coming up next, another good SEC battle here on CBS. It's number 7 Georgia taking on the 22nd ranked Crimson Tide of Alabama. Crowd chanting defense. This drive will start at the 16-yard line of Florida. They've got 4:47 left and 1 timeout remaining. 2 wideouts near side. Grossman pedals back, now tucks and runs, escapes, heads to the sideline, and is taken down. You're not kidding, at the 20-yard line. Let's go back, get an update on Purdue, Iowa. And here's Tim Brando. Tim?
All right, Craig, for the Hawkeyes, it was an overtime win at State College, Pennsylvania. And today, this. Backup quarterback Brandon Kirsch for Purdue, driving his team down for what would have been a tying field goal, picked off by Adolphus Shelton. And the Hawkeyes of Kirk Ferentz win again. Craig?
All right, thank you, Tim. Down to the wire there. Down to the wire here in Oxford, 4:10. And the clock runs. 2nd down. Grossman fires a bullet complete. Taylor Jacobs stepping up at the 32-yard line, 1st and 10 Gators. He beat Eric Oliver, but a good throw on a string from Grossman.
Grossman is stepping it up. That play to avoid the sack was humongous. That throw right there with Jacobs coming back to the ball was another clutch. This is why the guy's been a Heisman Trophy candidate all year. You know, this is where you either keep it or you lose it.
You know, that stat you just saw may play a factor down the stretch with only 1 timeout remaining for the Florida Gators. 2 for Ole Miss. And right there, a fine defensive stand by the Rebels. Graham was taken down by Greer. If Greer doesn't get a game ball, something's wrong.
Well, let's give him one. You're not giving him one. And it's happening from the outside. The left side of the Gator offensive line is struggling for pass protection. And number 2, on the other side, they're coming from the outside, right side of the Gator offensive line. And it's a problem for them.
Clock continues to run, coming up on 3 minutes. Ole Miss showing blitz. Strong backs off, Grossman floats one up and over. Picked off! I don't know if that was tipped or it slipped. Travis Blanchard intercepts Rex Grossman. Fourth interception thrown by Grossman.
Travis Johnson implemented into the game plan. Travis Blanchard put into the game plan during the off week. They earned their spots. An outstanding job coaching at Ole Miss. Them putting the right players on the field, creating some opportunities for their team. And they're going after him. This defense in the second half has really found the formula. Outside, there he comes. There he comes. Somebody has to go out. They block. They push him around. Grossman feels it, sees it, and lets the ball go early. Just overthrows his receiver.
Yeah, that one floated. And Blanchard, the junior, with the interception. 4 picks thrown by Grossman. He's been pressured all afternoon. A timeout with 2:58 left in Oxford. 17-14 Ole Miss. Now that's the feeling here in Oxford. It has been a rough day for Rex Grossman. 4 interceptions, Ole Miss by 3, and less than 3 minutes left. And the Rebels have fine field position at the Gator 48-yard line. Pearson, the ball carrier, smashing his way to the 45. He'll pick up 3. Scott made the tackle for the Gators. Here's Eli Manning. He was number 2 in the SEC coming in, number 9 in the country, and averages per game at 281.5. In fact,
and you know what? And that kind of play, that little zone stretch, which is what Florida likes to run. Now they need to worry at Florida. They've got to make sure they're disciplined backside, that he doesn't fake that and bootleg to the wide side of the field. Florida has to stay disciplined and not just run up for the run support.
Gators showing blitz. They back off. Hand off. Good explosion. Pearson past the 40 to the 37. Gus Scott met him. And a first down for Ole Miss. Now remember, timeouts, 2 for the Rebels, only 1 for the Florida Gators.
Bo Hartsfield filling in for Doug Ziegler is really, on these last few plays, made some nice blocks on that. He's the key guy. Running tight inside. He's got to control his man or they have no shot in the play.
First down and 10 from the 37-yard line. Manning, again, Pearson went right last time. This time he goes left side, and he'll bang for 3, maybe 4 to the 32-yard line. Let me remind you, the last time that Ole Miss went 2-0 in the SEC, the quarterback was Archie Manning, 1970. The clock running, 1:20. Keep an eye on those goalposts. They've got security on both ends.
Those goalposts right now, they can fill the pool.
They're shaking.
They're shaking. They know what's coming.
Ole Miss on the ground. To the 31. Bam Hardman. And now a timeout, and the final timeout used. Gators have used them all. 55-6 left. Ole Miss trying to hold on.
Doctor about Clarinex.
Eli Manning making his way back onto the football field after the timeout. No timeouts remaining for the Florida Gators. Their 6th ranking very much in jeopardy. They trail by 3 on the road. 3rd down and 5 for Ole Miss. Little bootleg. Manning running time. Pumps and hook slides at the 41-yard line. Now, Craig, how about a look at the 5-star play of the game presented by Wrangler? Matt Greer, not 1 but 2 interceptions today. Picked off Rex Grossman, but here it is. Picks it off at the 24, and big number 44 runs it in.
Not only the interceptions, but the number of times that they've hit him, that he's gotten to the ball carrier. He's hit the quarterback.
Clock ticking.
It's right there to where it's going to run out.
You know, that's got to be an empty feeling. Nothing that Rex Grossman can do.
Maybe 1 second to go.
They're going to run it down. 6 on the play clock. 5, 3. I don't know if they're going to get this crowd off the field or not.
They will not get this crowd off. They call timeout, but they're going to be in trouble here.
Yeah, big time. Fans rush the field. 1 tick left.
Looks like a bunch of ants coming over somebody's bread on a picnic.
Manning, so cool, so calm. And this crowd is going to try to be pushed back if possible. So they try to restore order.
Well, if Brother Peyton is watching this ball game, I know he'd be happy for his brother. It'd be the first Manning to beat a Florida team.
Yeah. Coming up next, don't go anywhere, Georgia, Alabama. SEC action, 2-0 for Ole Miss, first time since 1970. Manning will take a knee. That's it. Here they come. Upset in Ole Miss country. Oxford, Mississippi. 17-14. The 6th-ranked Gators fall on the road for Craig James and Andre Ware. This is Craig Bolerjack saying so long from Vaught Hemingway Stadium. The final score, 17-14. Coming up next on CBS, the Georgia Bulldogs taking on the Alabama Crimson Tide. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports.